Wait. No, hold on. Hold on. Hold on. I haven't even properly started yet. Welcome, Raiders. Hello. Hi. Hi, Raiders. I like the color pink visual novels and JRPGs. And I guess we're starting more early than we usually already are. Hi. I'm new. I like the color pink visual novels and JRPGs. So welcome to Please Be Happy, which is a visual novel. And you can wait a bit if you no, listen. I already pressed the funny button already. So I just said already twice. I think I pressed the button already. So we're starting right now. Hi. How have you been? How have you been? Also Pikachu for the Raiders, of course. Pikachu. Pikachu. Oh god, well, how are you? I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for coming by. I see you were playing Majora's Mask. Ooh, you got stuck in a dungeon. I'm not laughing at you, but like, that sounds like a Zelda experience. I would probably be the same. I haven't actually gotten to a single dungeon in the few Zelda games I've tried playing, but that sounds like something that could happen to me. This is cute, thank you. But yeah, welcome in. We're gonna be playing Please Be Happy tonight. We reached our first ending last time. So what we're gonna be doing now is we're gonna be skipping our way through a little bit of the story to see how different some scenes are going to be to reach the different ending. For the character on the left here, I keep moving my cursor, but you can't see it. This is fine. Because we already got her comfy ending, so now it's time to get her wild ending. I am still unsure of what exactly that is going to entail, but on the other hand, now that we've seen what happens when we got the comfy ending, I have a feeling I know what the wild ending is going to be like. I just hope it's not gonna like be a bad ending. I think the game doesn't have any bad endings in that sense. I think there's only feel-good endings.
Oh yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah, that is what happened, Miho. That is indeed what happened. Wild ending sounds interesting. Yeah, wait, hold on, actually. To give a quick overview, our main character in this game is the character in the middle. Her name is Miho. She is a Gumiho, a nine-tailed Korean fox, mythical creature. The character on the left is Aspen, who is a normal human. And the character on the right is Juliet, a vampire. We are currently living in the library, or above the library that Juliet owns, actually. Aspen works in a cafe, and, you know, these two have been friends for a long time, and Miho has recently joined in. Miho has a magic she's not in control over, where it makes people forget her if they don't interact, or at least talk. We don't know the exact extent of how the magic works, but if people do not actually interact with her over 24 hours, then they forget her. Like, she remembers, sure, but they forget her. They retain the memories of, like, they did whatever they did, but they cannot remember who it was they did something with. So if you played tennis with her, for example, you would be like, oh yeah, I played tennis yesterday, but you would not remember who you played tennis with. That kind of stuff. And we're currently on the Aspen route, where we start dating her. And the comfy ending. You know what? That's a bit too much. That was like the entire game to explain that. But now we're gonna go for the wild ending. And what happened in the comfy ending was she gave up her magic of being a Gumiho overall, and she turned into a human. She turned into a human by the end of the comfy ending, so I have a feeling I know what the wild ending is going to entail. What does Juliet eat anyway? Yeah, no, she does not suck blood. There was this one-off thing during the like, Miho asked her very, very close to when they met in the beginning, when they were, I think the very first time they were in her study, office, room, whatever, and Miho was like, ooh, so if she needs blood, she's like, oh, she only takes the very bare minimum of what she needs? But she did not explain how exactly she, like, what that is. Or where she get it. I assume she still drinks blood somehow. But we don't actually know how she would get it. I'm guessing it's probably gonna be explained more on Juliet's route. You know, granted, with Aspen's crush on Miho being a part of the main story and being the splitting point for the roots, Aspen had like a bigger presence in the common route already as well. While Juliet's one big thing is the entire explanation of like her daughter, like that big thing, which made me come very close to crying. But overall, I feel like we had less of her. Granted, I immediately went into Aspen's route, so all of my memories from the last few times have definitely just been Aspen. But maybe it's gonna be like more explained now that we're later on. Hopefully gonna get started with Juliet's route, because I don't think getting to the wild ending is gonna take us 3 hours. Any mysteriously missing patrons? No, I don't think. I feel like she might be someone who would be taking from like what are those things called? Like when they blood doesn't hold for you can't keep blood for very long, but maybe she just takes like blood pouches from blood that was donated. Maybe she has a deal with the hospital or something. Who knows? Dear Rams, when she was so very matronly when Maya was more of a curious teenager. I think it is romantic in nature. I think they're both romantic in nature. I couldn't actually tell you though, but we're gonna see about it. I've seen one CG of her route, which was very sweet, but I don't know. I don't know.
Oh yeah, that's what happened.
For now, we're gonna be doing a jump very far back to this part where we confronted Silver. Hello. And we want to not talk to her in more detail. Alright. I'm sorry, it's probably gonna be a little disorienting, but we're gonna try and see. I don't actually know how you would be able to skip in this game, funnily enough. Hold on, how would you? Oh, the message speed is not instant, why not? Good to know. Because I never saved the current options, probably. That's why. It's fine, let's go! Speed! Yeah, hold on, how do I speed? Toggle skip with tab or hold down the key. Alright. Want to tell Silver that maybe someday she could feel that way too, but I hold myself back. I've said enough for tonight. Silver also says quiet for a moment. She's probably trying to think of another way to call me a dog.
Of course. Any dog considers itself
That's when she wins the options little role, it is.
Master.
Even then, her words don't have the usual venom. Seems like I gave her something to think about, if nothing else. From the way she fidgets, I can tell we're getting near the point where Silver's going to decide she's had enough and run away. Before she can do that, there's something I have to know. Ah, there we go. Okay, wait. Ah! Aha! Okay, that's how we skip. Alright! Funny skipping time. Dun dun dun. Dun 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 dun. wonder how long that is going to be. I feel like the perfect visual novel would have several different skipping options. Though most of the time I'm guessing it would be a problem in like coding it. The idea itself is not a very new one. I've seen it in some visual novels before, where it's like, oh, you know, if you skip, you can skip to the next choice or automatically get like to the next new text. Which, you know, sometimes ends up with you skipping to the next new text and it's like in the middle of God knows where and you're like, what was the context of this scene? How is this new? But it is. What I also like, because like it makes it go faster, because doubling or whatever fucking speed that is right now is okay, but there's some games where it's like what feels like 10 hours between one choice and the other, and you have to speed up those 10 hours of just cutscenes. You're like, when is it gonna end? We miss traveling to new places here. Knock knock. It's been a while since I've been anywhere that felt this way. I like having a home, but I miss seeing new places too. If it weren't for my magic, I'd like to start traveling again now that I have somewhere to come back to. I only pay for my ticket and hurry out as fast as I can. Oh, wow, that's not a big difference. Skip to next choice and have a quick DBZ recap. I have never in my life seen Dragon Ball. I have no idea what those recaps were like. Alright, and here we want to pick the new flowers instead of the familiar ones that are the same as Aspen's. Go with the unfamiliar flowers that are new to me. I want something that will stand out compared to the ones she picks. Well, I'm imitating what you saw I did. Okay, so we've made our 3 different choices, which means there should be some kind of difference at some point. This is Halloween, where Silver broke in. We confront Silver. Our bead starts glowing even more. And we're in chapter 5. Alright, is chapter 5 already different or no? Alright. There's gotta be a difference somewhere. Wait, and it only... Hold on. Just want to make sure... Yeah, red only. Just want to make sure I'm not accidentally skipping other text as well. Alright, the dog! Dog that steals her backpack. Not a backpack, it was a purse. My brain is absolutely scrambled today, excuse me. Like, even more so than usual. Dog almost gets run over. And Silver goes to say goodbye. Yeah. Ah, then Tommy goes missing. Is the difference literally only going to be like the after credits scene? No, right? Okay, it's the opening. No, it's not yet the opening. It's them bringing the books over for the opening of the new cafe. And it's like, oh, you want to start working here? Oh, great. But I have this magic. How is this different? I'm trying to see if I'm not just fucking up something. The sound effects really are. Yeah. The music is one thing because it just skips quickly, but... Oh! Ah! So she does become a human regardless. She gives up her magic no matter what you do? Am I making the wrong choices? I have a feeling this... No, I'll... We're gonna see. Just give it a little more time. Okay. Yeah, we've seen the credits before. Ah! Alright, it is different. She looks weird without hairs. It's like, see, person usually wears glasses. It does. Not gonna lie. I mean, I'm happy for her. But it does... I'm not used to what she looks like without the ears. After months away, my first few breaths of Wellington air are the most refreshing I've ever had. Happy Lopes alongside me, just as glad to be back. He's even worse on airships than I am, although we've both gotten better with them over the past 3 years. We walk along the familiar streets, past the library where I used to live, until we reach the house. I fumble with my keys for a second before letting us inside. Percy and Byron both scatter immediately, like they always do when they see Happy. I'm definitely not the person they were expecting to walk in. I don't take more than a couple of minutes to enjoy the comfort of being home before I'm back out the door, leaving Happy with the cats. The bookstore isn't too far away. That was one of Aspen's conditions when we were looking for a place together. It's close to the Bell House too, although it's been more than a year since Aspen handed over the keys to their place to Lena. There's signs in the window of the bookshop advertising today's event, along with a picture of a familiar face. I step inside quietly, not wanting to interrupt anyone. There's a small line of people near the back, each waiting for their turn to approach the table where Aspen's sitting. Of course she doesn't notice when I walk in, because she's busy talking to someone. I linger behind one of the bookshelves, watching. Aspen waves her hand in greeting as a new person walks up, offering her a copy of her book. She signs it with a flourish, the hours she spent practicing her autograph paying off. Smiling, she hands it back, thanking them for coming by. So in this one, she becomes an author and not an editor. Doesn't need to have to becoming True. It's almost the end of a 2-hour signing session, and there are still a few copies left on the table beside her. But there are several folks around the store carrying their newly autographed books, and I'm sure there were plenty more earlier. As the last person in line steps up to the table, I go and take her place. Aspen signs the book and sends them on, stretching her fingers before looking at me.
Hello there.
Hi! Who are you? What the fuck? You have long hair and human ears. Okay, now that's one thing too many that I'm not used to. Miho with long hair, tied up, but human. Who is this? All right. Her face morphs from a customer service smile to a surprise as she actually notices me. I walk closer and hold up my copy of her book, the one I read on the airship ride over.
Hey, I'm not too late to get this signed, am I?
Miho, I thought you weren't supposed to be back
The
for another
fuck?
week.
Nah, I'm sorry. This is not Miho. This is someone else.
I wasn't. But I decided to come home early because I didn't want to miss this.
Aspen takes the book from my hands and signs it with the gold pen in her hands, drawing a little heart next to the end.
Thank you for being here.
It's the
It
bow.
means the world to me. You should have said you were coming, though.
It's the bow that reminds you of her. 100%.
But then it wouldn't have been a surprise.
It's also basically the same hairstyle. It's just Miho has shorter hair than Monica.
You and your surprises. Well, this is certainly the best kind.
How'd the signing go? Happy and I just got back, so I couldn't have come any earlier.
It went well. Long, but well. My hand hasn't been this sore in ages. But I couldn't be happier. At
Aw.
least, not now that you're here. I was a little worried that no one would show up, but it's actually been somewhat busy. Just missed Mum and Dad, although they're staying in town overnight, so you'll have to come see them later.
Oh. Okay, I guess those just played in a row.
Sounds good. I'll be here for a while. What about Juliet?
Get to Silver again and another ending? That's a good question.
She and I are having dinner tonight. You'll come too, right? I know she'll want to see you as well.
I think Silver's event is just going to be the same, regardless, though.
Of course. I want to be there when your book goes up on the shelves.
You know, I hadn't even thought about that. Somewhere in the chaos of all this book release nonsense, I'd forgotten all about the library.
Good thing I came back early, huh?
Indeed. As much as I love being able to tell people how my wife is traveling around the world.
Her wife! Her wife!
I much prefer having
so
her
normal.
here with me.
Smiling, I reach for my book, still in Aspen's hands.
Should we get going then?
But Aspen pulls it back just out of my reach.
Nope, you haven't paid yet.
Ooh!
Paid?
Yes, there's a special tax just for you.
A kiss!
Oh? What is
A
it?
kiss! Although I'm pretty sure I already know the answer. Yippee! I step close as Aspen leans across the table to kiss me, holding onto it for support. In that moment, all the jet lag and aches and pains of travel melt away, replaced with pure
Alright.
bliss.
Now I'm ready to go.
I see. Well, okay. Stream's over. We've seen Aspen's wild ending. Bye. I could have definitely just done that at the end of the other stream. Like at that point, it really wouldn't have mattered anymore. All right.
Already? Okay, let me grab my keys.
Sweet though. Now, what? We should only fit it within 3 hours. Yeah. So funny story. Technically, Juliet's story would start at this one in the middle, the one where we choose whether we want to like try it out with Aspen, but I have this save, which was the choice right before, where it's like, do you want to go to the cinema with Aspen or do you want to stay with Juliet? And it's like, it does not matter in regards to what route you want to go on, but on the other hand, it's like, it's a choice between, do you want to spend time with this character or this character? So if I'm going to go on Juliet's route now, I would like to rest at home with Juliet, I think, just to see what that's like.
I'm not really in the mood for a movie today, I think. Sorry, Aspen.
It's fine. Maybe another time.
Maybe I'm gonna cry because apparently you're going to crush on her regardless.
Yeah, definitely.
Aspen gathers her things and departs while Juliet remains in the kitchen with me.
So, you're not gonna go to sleep yet? It's the time you usually do, right?
Is she? Yeah. Because her crush is still in the common route.
It is, yes.
It
As I
is.
said, I won't be up too much longer. But I have a few tasks that I'd like to finish up.
It is quite literally the choice that decides on what route you go on, because she's... Yeah, I have no idea. That's the one thing that's keeping me back from like, I want to know what Juliet's route is like. I want to give Juliet some love, but also, you want to reject Aspen.
Like what? Anything I can help with?
Looking around the library, I don't really see anything that needs to be done.
I'm afraid not. Although I appreciate it. It's for my research services. You're welcome to keep me company, though, if you'd like.
Sure! I forget you do that sometimes.
I tend to work on it at night, after you've gone to sleep. Come, let's head to my study.
All right. I follow her up the stairs and into her office. She sits down at the desk and opens her laptop while also moving a stack of books and papers closer to her. I walk around the room a little, examining the shelves. There aren't any bats in the corner today.
I never noticed how many books there are in here.
Her office looks like my house in Final Fantasy XIV. It's just the same bookshelf that I thought of the market board so many fucking times. Because people put it on there for an okay-ish price. It's not a very expensive thing to make yourself if you had to craft it. I think I have like 15 of those. I covered the entire wall. I want to play Final Fantasy XIV again. Although the library shelves downstairs are full, it seems like there must be just as many books in here, maybe even more. Some shelves even have more than one row of them with stacks filled in front of stacks.
Ah, yes. Some of them are old and fragile and not suited to be handled by so many people.
Ah.
Others travel between the shelves down there and up here as I need them. Some aren't books per se, but essays or diaries or treaties.
Picking a book at random, I carefully remove it from the shelf and examine it. I'm able to read the soul world on the cover journal. When I open it up, it's full of handwritten pages. I return it to its place.
And you've read all of these?
Heavens no. I don't think even I've been alive long enough for that. I've read some, of course. Others I've only skimmed through as needed. Still, others were entrusted to me for safekeeping, rather than for their academic or entertainment value.
I take a seat in a chair across from her.
Sounds like a lot of work.
It can be. There have been fewer requests as of late, but I'm honored to be entrusted with them. Whether it's a family photo album or a handwritten novel, many people have memories and legacies that they'd like to preserve, but may not have the means to do so, either by the person who first brought them, or by a family.
I think I
member
accidentally
seeking to
skipped
learn more
a
about
thing
an
in between.
ancestor.
So hold on. Oh yeah, I did. My bad.
So I hold on to them here, and over time, generations even, they are sometimes remembered and asked about, or even taken back,
Cool.
either by the person who first brought them, or by a family member seeking to learn more about an ancestor.
Also, very good. You can go into the log and literally jump back. Handwritten novel really half written there. Wait, what?
Whether it's a family photo album or a handwritten novel, many people have memories and legacies that they like to preserve.
Yeah,
but
apparently it
may not
was.
have the means to do so.
Apparently.
There are hundreds of years of history in this room, and I'm not just talking about you and me.
Ha ha ha. It takes me a second to laugh. I'm not used to Juliet making jokes.
So, what exactly is it you do?
How did that happen? I mean, there have been a few voice lines, where the voice line was just slightly different from what was actually written there. Be it like them just saying stuff like "did not" and the text reading "didn't," which really isn't a big deal or anything, but technically it is different from how like it's not the same thing for both. But on the other hand. Doesn't bother me much. I didn't even realize the half-written, handwritten thing, not gonna lie.
Come here, I'll show you.
She gestures for me to join her beside the desk, turning a computer screen so I can see it. There's a photo of a fabled person with antlers like a deer.
This gentleman passed away several decades ago.
Oh!
Recently, I was contacted by one of his grandchildren, who was still young when it happened. He said that his grandfather once made it into one of the Wellington newspapers, and was hoping I could find the article.
Ah!
Did you?
See for yourself.
That sounds like a yes. She gestures to a folded newspaper lying in a stack of papers nearby. It's so old that it's begun turning yellow and the edges are all frayed. But sure enough, there's a grainy black and white photo of the fabled man, although he's way younger in this
He
picture.
had taken first prize in a singing competition at a local fair, and his picture was featured along with a summary of the event.
I look a bit closer. It's hard to tell, but he's smiling in the photo next to a trophy.
Whoa. Can't believe you're able to find this.
I hear that rather frequently,
Aww.
and it's rewarding every time.
I
In this case, I've already scanned the article and sent it to the grandson, so now I just need to return this paper to its proper place.
walk back around to the other side of the desk and sit down again.
This one was on the simpler side, because all I had to do was peruse newspapers from that time.
But where would you get newspapers from that time?
More complex requests that require consulting multiple sources can take me much longer.
Jeez, I had no idea.
I don't think she gets paid for that. She probably does it for free, right?
no. I don't ask for any payment. The work itself is a reward in its own right. I find it fascinating to revisit so many different pasts.
That sounds like Aspen talking about books.
Julia provides advanced jewel services. Very advanced. I mean, she even visits your home to be like, hey, this is what I found. Here you go.
Yes, it's quite similar. Although Aspen much prefers fiction and novels to this sort of thing.
Maybe someday you can have a copy of her book in here too.
Yes, I hope so. Although it would deserve to be downstairs where it can be freely enjoyed by all.
That'd be nice. I hope lots of people read it when it comes out.
Juliet smiles in agreement and begins to open up books and lay out documents. I get up and browse around some more, examining the shelves. Hi! New stream time. It is. Juliet being so nice that you wonder how she earns enough money. What, actually, the one thing I want to desperately know about Juliet, like, aside from where does she get money from, how is she so rich, how did she become a vampire? Because she apparently was not born as one. Unless I'm misremembering. But my brain has decided to focus on that one simple fact of being like, oh, when I turned into a vampire, I'm like, what do you mean when you turn into a vampire? Who did that? How did that happen? Why? When? I'm good. How are you doing? She said I could keep her company by watching the way she's reading so intently, going from source to source. I know I'd just be distracting her if I try. Eventually I try to quietly slip to the door, but Juliet notices me.
Oh, are you leaving? I'm sorry, I haven't been a very good host.
It's fine. I can tell you're really busy. Thanks for showing me everything, though.
Most vampires aren't born vampires. Yeah, I guess. But I want to know this universe's explanation. I want to know how they're gonna do it in this game.
Of course. Thank you for joining me.
Anytime. You're gonna go to bed after this, right? So, I'll see you later then.
That's right. Have a great day, Miho.
Thank you.
You too. Good night and good luck with your work.
Waving goodbye, I step out into the hallway alone. Oops. Alright. We've already checked out all of these places to see what text they give us. Entire meat along super sandwich thingy, yeah. And we want some more time. Everyone's having a book. There we go. Right, I said that the first time as well, but visiting Aspen's home for the first time for some reason takes a really long time to load. Out of all maps you could visit is like, oh, the first time you want to go here, the event's like, give me a minute. Alright. Confession scene coming up. Yep. Good. Well, I don't think I can do it.
I don't think I can do it.
Oh, it hurts. It hurts. It hurts.
I like Aspen, and I don't want to hurt her. But she's a human, and I just don't think I can do that to myself.
The words are heavy and hard to say, but it's a relief to say them. Juliet reaches her hand across the table and places it over mine.
I understand. I'm sure Aspen will too.
Here's a hint there. Yeah, it's good.
You don't think she'll
Good, yeah.
be mad at me, do you? Or upset? She said she wouldn't, but...
It's like, I do want to know why some things are the way they are, but it's okay.
Oh, heavens no. I'm sure she'll be sad. would be wrong of me to tell you otherwise. But I also know that she wouldn't want it to affect the relationship you do have. I'm sure she's prepared herself for this possibility and made her peace with it. The only way I can see her regretting her actions is if they somehow sullied your friendship.
No, no way. At least, I hope not. I don't like her any less. I just can't like her more than I already do. Not in the way she does.
I know what you mean. The heart wants what it wants. To try and go against our own feelings is folly. We only end up creating pain for ourselves and others. That's why Aspen chose to share her feelings with you, even knowing they may not be returned. And why it's important to be honest with yourself, even about the things that may be difficult. As you've reminded me, time and again.
I feel Juliet's hand slide off of mine as she stands and walks to the window, opening the blinds. Outside, it's that in-between time of evening where the sun has already set but the sky hasn't become totally dark yet. Though Juliet has no reflection, I can see myself in the window, watching her. I wonder if she notices it too. My hand tingles where hers covered it just a moment ago.
Have you
Ha!
ever been in love before?
I see! So she's a vampire that doesn't get a reflection even in a window! But the reason why most vampires, or why, the vampires don't have reflections thing happened is because mirrors back then most of the time had silver in them, not because it was a reflective surface. Yeah. Interesting. Did we get Aspen's reaction? Oh, for now it's still the same. Because Aspen, I think, funnily enough, the first time the confession happened, you also were not there for a little bit. But she confesses and then is like, I'll wait for your answer. So we haven't given her the answer of no yet. It's only gonna happen sometime when she comes back. Turning to face me, Juliet has an expression I can't read before replacing it with a fond smile. Also, yeah, the vampires and reflection thingy is making me mad sometimes, depending on how it's handled. It's not because of the reflective surface. We aren't going to mercy forget Aspen, are we? Oh god, no, hopefully not. That would be weird. Oh no.
There were several times that I thought I was, but later realized otherwise. All of them were before Cassette was born, when I was much more...
Wild? You were wild, Juliet.
I mistook the desires of the body and mind for the desires of the heart.
Okay.
What I had thought was love was really just an attempt to fill something missing. To fool myself into being...
Juliet in a bag again. Juliet with one of those Gakuran coats. And the pompadour.
Raising Cassette forced me to be honest with myself for the first time in ages. Perhaps ever. I had never truly cared about anyone other than myself. I just didn't know it until then. For her entire life, I devoted my heart to Cassette, ensuring she had all the genuine love and support that she needed and deserved.
You're very right, Akira. Also, she did say, like, they don't want anything to come between the friendship. It's one thing if she doesn't love her back, but the friendship would still be lost that way. And also, Juliet and Aspen are still friends. Juliet's not gonna forget about her anytime soon, so that would be a whole can of worms.
Even when she grew up and moved out of our home together, not a day or even an
It's like, oh, Juliet, who's this person who seems to be living in your home? Like, you know.
Since she passed away, I haven't allowed myself to grow close to anyone else. I couldn't ever again settle for a relationship that I didn't feel with my whole heart.
Eyes meet mine, lingering for a moment before Julia turns her attention back to her teacup, taking a sip. She closes her eyes and sighs with contentment.
I've made do with smaller pleasures. Hot tea, a good book, the company of friends. It's been enough, ever since then.
I know what you mean. I've only had smaller pleasures too.
Much like Juliet, it never occurred to me to want more. A warm place to sleep and a meal that I didn't scavenge were more than luxurious. For a long, long time, I've been satisfied with what little I had and couldn't hope for anything else. So I thought. I swish around my cup of hot chocolate, which isn't quite so hot anymore. I don't know how Juliet makes it, but I know it doesn't just come from mixing some water and powder. It's something she makes special every time just because she knows I like it. Has anyone else ever done something like that for me? Not that I can remember.
Not looking forward to telling Aspen tomorrow.
I know. I'm sure it can't be easy.
Is her bus still gonna break down? Like always, she handles my prop topic changes without comment.
All I can suggest is to speak from your heart, just like she did. Though it may take her a while, in time, I know that she'll be okay. The best thing you could do is to treat her normally, as if nothing has changed between the two of you.
Right. She's still Aspen.
Exactly. And you're still friends. Nothing can take that away.
I'm not feeling a little better. Julia and I chat a bit more before eventually I excuse myself and head up to my room for the night. Before I get into bed, I already know it's going to be one of those nights where I toss and turn for hours before being able to pass out. No matter what, I'm not looking forward to letting Aspen down tomorrow. All I can do is hope she understands, like Juliet said, even if it's not what she wants to hear. I make sure to not let it change anything between us. Neither of us would want that. Sure enough, it takes a while, but eventually my restlessness turns into exhaustion and I slip into a fretful sleep. Morning comes all too soon. Groggily opening my eyes, I check the time and see that I've slept in about as late as I can. I spend a while trying to fall back asleep, but fail and eventually get up. Only a couple hours until Aspen will be back. I'm sure she'll go back to her apartment first after she arrives, but she'll have to come up to the library not long after that so we can see each other before the day is past. Once she's here, I don't see a way to put off talking about that. It'll be better for both of us to just get it over with, I'm sure.
Alright, Miho. You can do this.
Staring into the bathroom mirror, I try to believe myself. Staring. Jesus Christ. I know that what Juliet said is all true about her friendship not having to change or there being any bad feelings. I'm just not looking forward to telling Aspen in the first place. It won't be the first time that I've heard Aspen somehow, but it's the first time where I've planned it out in advance and know that it's gonna happen. Still, I know that fixating on it and dreading it will just make me feel worse. After moping around for a bit longer, I head down to the kitchen.
Good morning, Miho.
Hi!
Morning!
At least Juliet seems to be in a good mood. I try to make myself sound chipper too. Even though it's just the two of us today, Juliet worked as hard as always on breakfast. There's the usual assortment of fruit, eggs, and toast all laid out on the table.
Thanks for the food!
Thank you for the pet!
Of course. Do dig in.
Don't mind if I do.
I eat my meal with as much gusto as I can, although much slower than usual. Juliet went through all the effort to prepare everything, so I don't want to let it go to waste. Eventually, I have to admit defeat and set down my fork with a lot of food unfinished.
Everything okay?
Yeah, it's all great.
Give
I'm just
breakfast.
not super hungry right now.
Oh, yes. Understandable. I'm sorry. I should have asked before preparing so much.
Nah, it's fine. Thanks for cooking. I'm sorry I can't eat more of it.
Don't worry. As long as you enjoyed it, I certainly can't complain.
I sure did. It doesn't look like you're all that hungry either, though.
Me? What makes you say that?
I point at the half-eaten bread on her plate.
You had even less than I did.
Juliet looks down as if surprised to see what's there.
Well, I suppose you're right. To tell you the truth, most food tastes the same to me, essentially flavorless. I enjoy the ceremony of sharing a meal with friends much more than the meal itself.
You can't taste anything? Why not?
It's another one of the downsides of vampirism.
Ah,
I can still eat and drink if I want to, but I don't need to.
Damn, I wish that was me.
Even tea?
Even tea, to an extent. Although I can't enjoy the flavor, I do still enjoy its aroma. And that was one of my favorite parts about tea, even as a human.
Whoa. You're really good at cooking. I'm able to try it.
Thank you. I'm glad you like it. Cosette was often my taste tester. Once I found a way of preparing something she enjoyed, it was simply a matter of committing the recipe to memory.
I see.
She definitely had good taste then. I can't imagine not being able to enjoy food. It used to be one of the only things I enjoyed.
It is quite unfortunate. Had I known what it would be like before I turned, I would have made more of an effort to sample cuisine from around the world while I could.
Were there other things that were different for you then?
Oh yes, almost everything. Those faculties that I do retain, such as my eyesight and hearing, are far keener than they were as a human. To say nothing of the ability to transform, I suppose it must be like that for you as well, compared to your days as a fox.
Yeah, that's true. But I can always turn back into a fox when I want to.
You are quite fortunate in that regard. Taking wing as a bat can be exhilarating, but it's not...
I assume she has not done it very
familiar.
often in her life.
Do you like being a vampire? Would you go back to being a human if you could?
That's a difficult question to answer. Even if I were to somehow revert to normal humanity right now, I wouldn't be the same person I was before I became a vampire.
That's also a very heavy question to be asked at the breakfast table.
That was a lifetime ago. Several, in fact. Who I am now isn't even who I was when I first changed. I appreciate the many chances that I've had to learn and grow. Without the gift of immortality, that wouldn't have happened. Nor would I have met any of the people whom I care about most. You, Cosette, Aspen. I'd have died centuries too early for our paths to ever cross. Naturally, I wouldn't trade that for the world, for anything. But I confess that I do miss the simplicity of human life. The very things that Aspen fears most are some of what I most regret leaving behind. A temporary existence pushes you to achieve all that you can within the time given to you. Your triumphs and victories are sweeter, just as tragedy may be deeper, with their impermanent finality. I suppose I would have to say that it's equal parts blessing and curse. Presented with a choice to somehow go back and stop myself from being turned, there are truths that can only be learned with experience and age. So, in that sense, perhaps it would be futile, even if...
Oh my god. With a sigh, she gives me a sheepish smile.
That was rather long-winded of me, wasn't it? To answer your question more directly, no, I wouldn't go back. There's a part of me that will always want to, though.
I get it. Sounds like there are even more differences.
I am
between
suddenly
fable
getting
like
hit
us
by
and
the
humans than I thought.
extremely sleepy Jesus. I was planning on taking a nap earlier today, during the afternoon actually, because I went to, like, I think I fell asleep at around 4 a.m. and I got back up at 9.
In some ways, yes.
Nodding, I idly push around some of the leftover food on my plate with a fork. It went cold a long time ago.
Thanks for saying all that. It makes me feel better about, you know, like I'm making the right decision.
It's my pleasure. I'm glad that I could be of some help.
I wish I could delay having a conversation with Aspen, but there's only a couple more hours until I would have to see her anyway. At least long enough for her to not forget me. She took a late bus there and an early bus back just for that. meaning her visit with her family hardly lasted any time at all. I feel a twinge of guilt because Aspen basically has to plan her life around seeing me, even though there's nothing I can do about that. Rising to my feet, I gather both my dishes and Juliet's and take them to the sink, dumping the leftovers in the trash on my way. Hello, I would like to get the next text box.
Thank you, Miho.
No
I'm
problem.
pressing the wrong button.
Are you going to bed?
Indeed. Unless you'd prefer for me to wait with you.
I wouldn't mind, but it's okay. You don't have to stay up for my sake. I'm probably just going to watch TV or something until she gets here.
All right, if you're sure. As always, you're welcome to wake me should the need arise.
If you're actually asleep next time. You were already awake when I knocked yesterday.
True. Although that was something of an anomaly. Still, whether I'm awake or not, don't hesitate if you need anything.
Okay.
Will do.
Have a good day, Miho. I'll see you this evening.
I finish cleaning up as Juliet heads to her room. After wiping my hands dry, I flick off the lights and go to my own room. The TV crackles to life when I switch it on and I take my usual spot on the floor with my back against the bed. Flipping from channel to channel, I look for a cartoon or something that I can watch without having to think too hard about it. Preferably something without a romantic subplot, as hard as that is to find. It's not that I mind those most of the time, but right now I'm not in the mood. I end up settling for an animated movie about a girl who can turn into a seal and her brother's quest to rescue her. Ah, okay. Not sure if that's a reference to anything. If it is, I do not know what. As I'd hoped, watching shows does take my mind off things. It also makes time pass by way too fast. At some point, when I check the clock, I see that it's almost time for Aspen's bus to arrive. Stomach cramping feeling of anxiety starts to kick in. I take some deep breaths and drink a glass of water to stifle it.
It's no big deal, you dummy. You're just making this worse for yourself. She'll be sad, but she'll get over it.
Around the time that the bus should be pulling into the station, I go downstairs to wait. My practice books for reading and writing are tucked away at the front desk where I retrieve them and sit down. My eyes go over the same line a dozen times without really processing what I'm seeing. You want me to save them? Okay. Okay. Sure? Yeah. No redeem. Because I finally did it after yesterday. It's frustrating because it's not like my thoughts are occupied with something more important. Instead, it's like there's an alarm bell ringing in my head, and I'm a helpful reminder that I'm not looking forward to what's going to happen without contributing anything useful. I grit my teeth and try to power through it, forcing my hands and eyes to cooperate. I manage to slowly make my way through the worksheet in front of me, but not without glancing at the front door every couple minutes. Thank you for the hydro time and the posture check. Thank you also for the pat. Oh, that's a good crunch. When I finish, I'm not sure I actually got anything out of it. With every minute that ticks by, I get a little antsier. I wait. And wait. And wait. 45 minutes after a bus should have arrived, I get up and pour myself another glass of water just to do something.
She sure is taking her time.
Well, her bus is probably breaking down, regardless of what route we're on. I should probably be more patient. It's a long walk from her apartment to here, and she probably wanted to freshen up after the long ride. Sighing, I take my seat, spinning circles in the chair. A minute later, I stand up again and pace around, browsing the books on the library shelves as if I'm interested in them at all. Before I know it, an hour has passed since I came downstairs, since Aspen got back to Wellington. I head back to the desk and pull out another writing worksheet. With a couple of weeks of practice behind me by now, I can write almost all the letters from memory, just not very legibly. It takes all my concentration, but when I get to the end of this one, I'm pretty proud of the results. Somehow it took me almost 50 minutes to get through both sides. That explains why my hand is so sore. But it doesn't explain why Aspen's still not here.
Maybe I should go find her.
She'd probably be following the same path we took to get to the station yesterday. It goes right by her home after all. It's nearly enough that if I hurry, I could get to the station and back with time to spare in case she does take a different route and get to the library while I'm gone. Plus, I could write her a note. I grab one of the pads of sticky notes that Julie keeps at the desk. gripping my pencil so tightly that it hurts. But I need to be as precise as I can, or else Aspen won't even be able to read it. Aspen, went to station and your house. Took route you showed me. We'll come back here. It's not the best, but it should work. I wish I was calm enough to be proud. Instead, I just grab a piece of tape and stick the note to the front door as I hurry out. Moving at a brisk pace, I scan both sides of every street as I go and check every window and open door I can to make sure I don't miss her. I make it to Aspen's apartment and knock loudly, rocking on my heels while I wait. The door never opens. I try to peek in her window, but the blinds are shut and curtains are drawn. Still, it doesn't look like there are any lights on inside. My worry starts to morph into panic. It's possible she already came home, dropped off her bags, turned the lights back off and left. But then, why didn't I pass her on the way? Just to be sure, I hurry the rest of the short trip to the station, but don't see any trace of Aspen. Fluttered running instead of jogging, I rush back the way I came. But instead of staying on our one route, I also try side streets, weaving back and forth between the main path and the others. None of them have her, and I reach the library breathless and alone. My note's still where I left it. I push the door open, hoping against hope that she's waiting for me inside. She isn't, but Juliet is there, standing behind the front desk.
Miho, I was wondering where you'd gone. I saw these sheets that you left out.
Aspen still isn't back yet!
I can't hold back from blurting out the bad news. There's no time to waste. Juliet's eyes instantly go wide with alarm, and her mouth drops open in shock for a brief second before she composes herself.
I see. Wait here. I'll try to call her.
While she rushes off, I push the door back open and scan the horizon, looking for the glint of Aspen's glasses in the sun or her hat bouncing while she walks. Nothing. Juliet returns with the phone in her hands, where it looks weirdly out of place. She calls Aspen and puts it on speaker, and we both wait with bated breath.
Hello, you've reached Aspen. If you're a publishing agent or editor, then please...
Juliet cuts off the voicemail message just like I cut off a moment ago.
I didn't even hear it ring!
It didn't. That means that for whatever reason, she can't receive calls right now.
Whatever reason? Like what?
Most likely, her phone is dead. Or she's somewhere without reception.
I see Juliet's face fall as we both make the same connection.
Yesterday, before we left here.
Yes. She mentioned that she wouldn't have it for most of the journey. But she should have been back in Wellington a long time ago, correct?
Yeah. At least 2 hours ago.
How much longer do you have left?
Like 15 minutes?
About an hour.
Okay. My voice cracks as I say it.
Just under.
My mouth is dry. I tried to swallow the lump in my throat, but it won't go away. She even came home early to give us extra time. Time that was supposed to be just in case, not actually needed.
What are you going to do?
I don't know. I was hoping you would know.
Me? I see. Let me think.
I could just wait here at the library where she's bound to turn up eventually. I'm sure she's watching the clock as closely as I am. Wherever she is. On the other hand, I could go out and look for her again. I can move faster than she can, and if she's running late, then the time she saved by going to where she is could make all the difference.
Okay, here.
I look up at Juliet, hoping she has the solution.
Take my phone. Go try to find her. Make sure you can get back here in time. If she arrives before you find her, we'll call you.
Okay.
Juliet quickly shows me how to use the phone, and I pocket it, making sure that it won't fall out. Her plan just combined both of mine. It's a good compromise, but it still comes down to luck. I guess there's no way around that. Not every problem has a perfect solution. There's nothing else to say and less time to say it, so I hurry back outside without another word. I've barely got my breath back from running all the way to the library, but I force myself to run again. I have to cover as much ground as possible, as fast as possible. I check the Bell house, but she's not there. When I get to her apartment, it's just as I left it, same at the bus station. I turn around, about to start the trip back, when I spot someone waving at me from nearby.
Hey, miss. You okay? I saw you run by here a while ago.
I'm looking for someone. A friend who should have been here by now.
On one of the buses? You sure they weren't on the one that broke down?
The what?
Yeah, heard some other folks who were here talking about it. Guess it broke down on the way back and the replacement's taking forever. They were getting pissed because it was going to make them late. Couldn't tell you which bus it was, but you could probably find out. Where were they coming from?
I don't know the name of the town. It's a few hours away.
Well, that doesn't exactly narrow it down, but it matches up, I think. The guys who are waiting were packed for a long trip, so it must be one of those distance lines.
Thanks.
I stumble as I turn back around, my legs shaking like jelly. There's no way it isn't Aspen's bus. All the details line up so perfectly and terribly. My only hope is to wait here at the station and hope that the replacement arrives in time. Mechanically, I dial Aspen's phone over and over, hanging up and redialing whenever her recorded voice starts to play. At some point, I stop trying. As the minutes tick down, I feel increasingly sick with the burning pressure of tears in my eyes. When I do finally hear the rumbling sound of an approaching vehicle, I can barely believe it. Lifting my face from my hands, I watch with my heavy heart in my throat as a bus turns the corner and pulls into the station. This has to be her bus, it has to be. Unable to move, I just watch as a line of passengers slowly disembarks. My eyes stay glued to the door until the line finally stops. Then a line of waiting people, including the person who talked to me, begins to board. The bus takes off a minute later without Aspen. I collapse back onto the bench, barely repressing a sob. Why is this happening? For the final few minutes, I stare at the phone open to Aspen's info. Along with her phone number, there's a picture of her sitting at the kitchen table. It's a little out of focus, but she's smiling. I look at the picture, rather than the time, as minutes become seconds, then seconds become nothing. A full 24 hours have passed and Aspen never returned. Everything I was feeling melts into numbness. Seems like I should feel something, a chill or ache or some indication that it's over. I've been forgotten. Of course there isn't one. I've been forgotten a million times before, it just never mattered. Even now it doesn't feel real. Just a few hours ago I was worrying over Aspen for entirely different reasons. I rise and slowly return to the library. I don't run. I don't look in the windows. I don't try calling. My sticky note is still on the front door when I get back, and I tuck it down, stuffing it in my pocket as I trudge inside. Juliet stands up from the desk as I walk in. Alone. I can see her face shift as she realizes. The door slams shut behind me, no one else stepping in.
Oh, Miho. I'm so sorry.
Ha!
Here's your phone. Thanks for letting me borrow it.
I set it down on the desk and then stand there, not sure what to do next.
Perhaps it's not exactly 24 hours. Perhaps there's some leeway and she'll still get here in time.
Yeah, maybe. There was a bus that broke down, I guess. It must be hers. Someone at the station told me.
For once, Juliet seems to be at a total loss for words. She just nods stiffly at my explanation. I sit down on one of the chairs near Juliet, staring at the floor. The alarm bell in my head is mercifully silent. Faintly, it occurs to me that this must be what they call shock. We sit there until there's a noise outside the door, catching both my and Juliet's attention. Slowly, the library door opens and Aspen enters, looking worn out. Her hair's frazzled and it looks like she's been running, or crying, or both. She shuts the door gently behind her. Juliet and I both stand up from the desk at the same time.
Aspen, you're back!
I can't bring myself to say anything, only to stand there and wait. As the feelings of dread and anticipation return, I realize that I've held on to some hope after all.
Yes, I'm back. God, I know I'm late. It was ridiculous. Our bus broke down and the replacement didn't arrive for hours. We weren't even that far from Welly when it happened. Simply unbelievable.
Aspen reaches up to adjust her hat and glasses and holds up her phone with a smile.
I saw all the missed calls from you once I got back to the station, but it was so late, I thought it would just be easier to come straight here instead. So sorry to keep you both waiting, Juliet.
Walking past Juliet, Aspen comes to where I'm standing, her eyes glued to the floor. She stops in front of me and slowly looks up. She was definitely crying.
And you must be Miho.
Oh no, don't do that! I see. They immediately fucking break your heart to get to Juliet's route. I see. Right. It's twice now that I've lost someone dear to me. Although Aspen is still alive and I see her every day, her loss feels even more painful than Joan. It's been a few days since Aspen lost her memories of me. She's been here like usual every day since then, and we both try to pretend that nothing ever happened. Everyone, including Juliet, knows that it'll never be the same. Whenever Aspen and I talk, I can tell. Whenever I mention something that she can't remember, it stings all over again. Even when she's sitting right beside me, Aspen seems further away than ever. I doubt she remembers what she said to me before leaving. She hasn't mentioned it at all, and so neither have I. Not needing to have that difficult conversation was a relief, but not nearly enough to make up for losing everything else. If I could pick one or the other, I'd choose the conversation over Aspen forgetting me every time. I'm sitting in the kitchen in my usual spot next to where Aspen sits at breakfast, when my ears perk up at Juliet's approach. Although she can walk without making a sound, even better than I can, I've developed some sort of sixth sense for detecting her.
You're up early.
I don't look up from the cup of cold tea that my hands are wrapped around, although it's been at least an hour since I last took a sip.
I think it's later than you imagine. Just past 8.
Oops. I must have lost track of time.
I sat down here after closing the library for the day, just intending to collect my thoughts for a couple minutes. Guess it turned out to be more than a couple. Taking a seat across from me, Juliet also has a cup of tea. Hers is still fresh, warm and steaming.
It's understandable. You surely have a lot on your mind. Anything you'd like to talk about?
You already know everything.
Not quite everything. How do you feel?
I stare into the mug, aware that Juliet's looking at me. For some reason, I don't have the strength to meet her eyes.
Sad. Even though I know I shouldn't be.
Oh heavens, why ever would you think that?
Because I knew this was gonna happen someday. Sooner or later. It just turned out to be sooner.
What do you mean?
Shrugging, I finally look up. Worry creases Juliet's face, and so I stare at the wall just behind her. I don't want to see someone else feeling bad on my behalf right now.
I mean, it was always going to happen. Aspen was always going to forget me someday. There's no way I could see her every day for the rest of her life, right? That's the other thing, too. She's a human, so eventually she'll...
I trail off, not wanting to say the words out loud, and knowing that Juliet will get what I mean. Sure enough, she nods sagely.
She will.
Death used to be such a distant concept for me, just a boogeyman to be afraid of, but not worry about too much on a daily basis. Now it's become all too real, in the case of Jongi. Now when it comes to Aspen, it's hard to not think about how that will be her fate too someday. Even if she hadn't forgotten me, no matter what I might have said in response to her confession, the eventual end would be the same. I can't help but picture Juliet's own pain and anguish at Cosette's grave, even all these years after she passed away.
So if it was gonna happen anyway, then what's the point? Why bother?
That's not a good way of looking at it, Miho.
I'm just going to get hurt again and again. Someday, even you'll also...
However, it's just as difficult with someone else who's immortal, maybe even harder. No matter how many years may pass, it'll still only take one day for everything to be undone.
Oh, Miho.
She reaches across the table and lays her hand on top of mine, still clutching tightly to my drink. Her fingers are soft and cool, but they look awkward against mine, like she doesn't know what to do with them. I don't know what to do with them either.
I wish I could tell you otherwise. But you're right that some kind of pain is inevitable when it comes to those we love. That's the trade-off for the joy they bring to us while they're with us. The pain exists because we had something to lose. Despite the heartache, I wouldn't trade my time with Cosette for anything.
It's different for me, though. Because I can lose the same person over and over. What about the next time Aspen forgets me? Or if there's a time after that? Maybe it's better to just...
I shake my head and cut myself off because I know I really will start crying if I go much further. Although Aspen and I have already been rebuilding our friendship, part of me wonders if it's worth it. I really want to make myself go through it all again. I know the answer is yes, I'm already doing it, but it's tough to justify to myself. Sighing deeply, I unwrap my fingers from the cup, sliding my hand out from beneath Juliet's as well. I study her hand still on the table. Despite her age, her skin remains perfect and unblemished. All her scars must be on the inside instead.
Thanks for listening to me. And sorry for being such a bummer. I'll be back to normal in a day or two.
There's no need to apologize. I can only imagine how you must feel. Take all the time that you need. You don't have to force yourself.
Yeah, I know. But thinking about it just makes me feel worse. Besides, Aspen and I are still friends. I guess. Friends again. I can't change what happened, so I may as well just do the best I can now.
That's true. Still, don't ever hesitate if you need someone to talk to, or a shoulder to cry on.
Thanks. I do feel a bit better. I think I'm gonna call it a night, though.
Sleep well, Miho. I'll see you tomorrow.
I'm sure she can tell that I don't entirely mean it when I say I feel better. Still, she does me the courtesy of pretending.
Night.
In a backwards twist on the usual, I head upstairs to my room and leave Juliet behind in the kitchen. As I climb the stairs, I get a glimpse of her still seated at the dining table across from the cup I forgot to put away. Somehow, it feels weird to see her there alone. In my room, I wrap my blanket around myself and lie down. It's earlier than I usually go to bed, but late enough that it's pretty dark outside. I'm sure I'll be able to fall asleep. Although the day's ending for me, it's just beginning for Juliet. I wonder what she'll do with it. Maybe she's still down at the table sitting by herself. Isn't that lonely? Then again, I guess she's probably used to it. I'm still new to this whole loneliness thing, but she's pretty much an expert by now. It's kind of sad when I think about it. As I'm lying there, I hear the sound of the front door opening and closing. Sitting up, I look out the window to see Juliet standing near the porch. Something flaps past my window and I move closer to see a bat descending towards Juliet. At first I assume it's one of her friends, the ones who hang in the corner of her study or get fed in the kitchen, but to my shock, the bat changes form, soon becoming a tall man.
Another vampire.
Eh? It's too dark and far away for me to see or hear anything clearly, but I can tell they're having a conversation. I'm tempted to open my window, but I'm sure the noise would catch their attention. The two of them only talk for a couple minutes, and then the other vampire turns back into a bat. I quickly lie down and pretend to be asleep as he passes by just a couple seconds later. When I sit back up and peer outside again, Juliet's nowhere to be seen. Before long, I start to get tired and crawl under the covers for real. Although I listen for the sound of the front door again, I never hear it, and eventually I fall asleep. Even though things have changed so much, the morning routine is more or less the same. The three of us chit-chat about our lives and mundane things until we finish eating. After pushing her empty plate away, Aspen leans in.
So, Miho, there's something I've been thinking about. And I understand if this is something you wouldn't even want to consider. But have you ever thought about finding a way to stop your magic?
Ah. Juliet also turns to look at me, putting me on the spot.
Not that I can remember. That's like asking if you've thought about finding a way to stop your nose from working.
You got dinner? Nice. What kind of dinner did you get?
I see. I thought that might be the case.
Ugh.
I'm
So
not
cold
sure
today.
if
I
I've
don't
heard of such
get
a
it.
thing either.
Ugh.
But that doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Leftovers from lunch. Ha. Good. You cooked today? Woo!
I was just thinking about the other day and
I
about
did not.
how dreadful
I
it
did
all
not
was to
cook
go
today.
through. Of course, I don't want to speak for Miho. I know it's much more complicated than just that. But I thought I might bring
But
up
I
the
ate so
idea,
much
at
yesterday,
least.
I'm really not hungry. Fried rice and paneer chili. Ooh.
You've got a point.
Sounds nice.
Not having to worry about people forgetting me would be a huge relief.
Right. I thought you might agree.
I look at Juliet, expecting her to give an opinion, but she doesn't offer one. It's true that life would be a lot easier without my magic. Well, isn't this the same scene? Aha! I was like, that sounds the exact same as the scene we've seen before. So we do share some,
See you later,
huh?
Miho?
But here's going to be some differences because they're not dating. Aha.
Yeah. Bye, Aspen.
Aspen walks inside the bell house as I wave goodbye and then I head off. I see. The wallet stealing pub. Oh yeah. There's this thing where they find out that it works with Lena, right? So now it's going to be okay, we're gonna go to the cafe and Lena's gonna be like, oh, and who are you? Ah, just fucking with you. Takes a second for me to process the significance of Lena's words, but once I do, I break into a grin. Aspen also looks excited, but a bit regretful too.
That's great news. This will be such a big help.
If only they had known about this when you went on your funny little trip, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I know she and I are both thinking the same thing. If only we tried this sooner. We could have talked to each other that morning before Aspen got on the bus, and then everything would have been fine. As it is, this huge life-changing moment is bittersweet. Still, it really is a big relief. With this, my future just got a whole lot easier. After saying goodbye to Aspen and Lena, I start walking back home. As I go, I pull up my new phone and slowly tap to the screens.
Let's see. I think it was here.
I manage to find my way to my messages and then find Juliet. I have to stop walking in order to concentrate enough to write out a quick note. It worked. Since Juliet's the one who got me the phone, it just seems fitting to let her know by using it too. When you didn't leave experimenting with your magic until the last possible moment. Oh, well, after said moment. Yeah, right? Maybe you should have thought of that a little earlier. Although Juliet doesn't reply to my text, when I get back to the library, she's waiting for me with a big smile on her face.
Miho, welcome back. I saw your message, but thought I would wait to congratulate you in person.
Thank you, thank you.
Thanks. I'm still processing it myself, you know.
I grab one of the spare chairs from close by and then join her behind the desk, taking a seat.
Even though it's such a big deal for me, it was pretty normal for everyone else. Or at least, it should have been.
I slide the phone out of my pocket and hold it in my hand carefully, staring at the polished glass screen.
That doesn't make it any less special. Change doesn't happen all at once. You should enjoy these little moments along the way.
Yeah.
I'm sure she's thinking about Aspen too, but bringing that up would just be bringing down the mood. Instead, I try to do what Juliet suggests, let myself focus on the good things this means from now on.
Yeah, you're right.
The little piece of technology that I'm holding is just the first step into a new world of possibilities.
No more being forgotten. At least, by the people that matter.
As long as I have a phone too, at least. I know enough about phones and how unreliable they can be to know it isn't a perfect solution.
I still want to know more about my magic and how it works, though. I'm not sure I want to just get rid of it, like Aspen suggested.
I understand. As a human, I think it's hard for her to grasp what that would be like. There's certainly merit to learning about it, though, as you say.
It's kind of funny that now machines can do a lot of stuff that only magic could do before. Like, flying. I used to be so jealous of Fabled who could fly.
I know quite what you mean. Why, sometimes I feel as if the rest of the world is passed.
I mean,
me
frankly,
by
Juliet,
in
technically you're a deluxe boomer.
Really?
I don't think we actually have a word
I mean,
for her.
you know how to use a phone and a computer and all those things. Seems like you're keeping up to me.
Perhaps. I still prefer to write something by hand, or have a conversation face-to-face when possible, though.
Dyslexia. I mean, come
And
on!
that's just what it is to get old.
We know she was born several centuries ago.
You're not getting old. At least, I don't think so. I don't feel old, and we've been alive for almost the same amount of time.
Oh.
I certainly do feel younger when you're around too. You remind me to enjoy the moment more often.
That's what I'm here for. If there's one thing I'm good at, it's not thinking about the future.
Yikes. Making Juliet laugh makes me smile, because it's something she doesn't do very often. When it happens, it's like a rare treat. Without Juliet, none of the good things in my life would be possible. She's the one who gave me a place to stay, a way to take care of myself, and now she's even giving me a way to be remembered. All of that for free too. I know she says I don't owe her anything, but the least I can do is to try to make her smile when possible. Even that doesn't feel like it's enough. It's a start though, as she's always fond of saying that. Just like the phone is a start too. Julia's probably written so much behind that she would have to actively try to write back. And then it turns out that Juliet just has a doctor's handwriting. And no one can read it. Nah, we know she can. We know she writes very, very nice. Juliet laughs turns into a yawn, although she tries to hide it with the back of her hand, and I leap up from where I've been sitting. Oh, there you!
I can take over from here, so you can go to bed. Thanks for covering for me while I was out.
It was my pleasure. It's nice to be behind the counter again every once in a while, and to see our guest in person.
Now that I think about it, she does sleep through the busiest hours every day, so she never really gets to see anyone enjoying this place she's worked so hard to put together.
Do you know most of them?
I recognize many, but it would be a stretch to say I know them. Their names, perhaps, or even their reading habits, but not much beyond that.
That's too bad. I'll bet most people don't know how hard you work on the library, even though they come here all the time.
Oh, that's all right. I don't need the recognition, so long as the library itself is appreciated. Besides, you work harder for it than I do nowadays.
I guess that's true. But only so you can help people in other ways. Besides, you did my job for way longer than I have.
I've been here only a fraction of the time she has, but even I can remember some of our regulars. Although they occasionally ask about Juliet, it seems like they think of her more like a public service than a person. I can't pretend I don't understand why. It's like Juliet has two lives, the one that she leads at night by herself, and the one that she briefly shares with everyone else each day. And both of those are devoted to the people of Wellington. She rises, gazing around the room. It's still early enough that there aren't too many patrons around, but a handful are browsing or reading. Watching her look around, I can see a kind of sadness in her eyes, like when she's told me about Cosette or talked with me about Aspen. It's not too different from how she normally looks, but I spend enough time with her that I can tell the difference. It instantly tempers some of my excitement from the new phone.
What's wrong?
The focus snaps to me and her face clears like it wasn't supposed to notice that.
Nothing. I was simply reminiscing a little. I do feel rather tired, though. Good night, Miho.
As her trademark smile, she turns and starts to stride past me on her way to her room. As she passes by, I clear my throat.
Hey.
Juliet pauses.
Are you sure you're okay?
I look up, but she's just facing forward, eyes locked on the stairs. After a moment's hesitation, she starts walking again.
Yes. Good night, Miho.
I don't try to stop her a second time, and I watch as she heads down the hall and then up the stairs. Nobody else seems to pay much attention. Just because we said that we'd be more open from now on doesn't mean she has to tell me everything. She still has plenty of secrets, that's for sure. I wish she'd let me try to help her though, even if it's just listening. The way she can go from laughing or frowning in just a few seconds, I can't pretend that I don't relate. I wonder if one of those feelings is more honest than the other. If so, I can probably guess which one. Whatever it is that has her down, it's not something that I can worry about too much right now. I'll be here if she needs, of course, but it's up to her to do that. For now, I'll just keep helping out the only way I know how. Pulling the morning stack of returns and requests, I get to work. You know how I fucked up, though? Hold on. Actually, I'm so sorry. Let me...
I'll race you!
You race me? Don't race me. Don't race me, Lena.
We've now docked at Wellington.
Oh, hey! That beginning CG is the same as the one in the ending. I didn't even realize that. Dun, 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 dun. Because we do want to see the other side character that gets a story, right? We're not gonna see that if I start Julia's route from the save I made, which is something I only realized after we already started. Because I need to choose some different side activities during the common route. My bad. But I'd rather we don't miss out on that one. So it's time to skip through all of this again real quick. Here. This is different. Wait! Oh no! Right. We talked to him. Yeah, okay. The first time we did talk to him. But afterwards we've only ever had Tommy's events, so. Thank you for the pat. Oh. I'm just gonna hope this is gonna work out then. Yeah, we try to steal funny picture. And then it's like, oh, you can stay here, and we're like, ha ha ha, you'll never see me again. Hoo hoo. And then you go to the cafe, and Aspen remembers you. Whoa. That cannot be. No one's ever remembered me. And then they let her move in. It's actually pretty wild to think about the entire premise of the game. You start meeting people and suddenly it's like, oh yeah, you can move in, I don't mind. Okay. Oh, wait.
Oh, Miho. Go ahead.
What'd you make it?
Fried eggs and toast. With
Better than all.
I hope that it lives
Sure did that.
practice. The bats enjoy fruit as well. If there are any items
Find a
you'd
hole
like
in
me
the
to
library
keep
and
around
immediately
back
for them
for
home.
you,
Well, it's better than her staying in the library.
I'll tell you.
Oh. I see.
All set on my.
Thank you.
Right.
So,
Oh my
Miho,
god, my
how
bad.
will you be
That scene was when we went with Aspen. Aspen showed us around the library. Good to know. Oh god, this is gonna be quiet sometime. The good thing is I notice it now. We're just gonna do that real quick and then never have to bother with it again. You're playing tennis. Yes, you are. Yep. There we go. This should be a new thing now. Yes. We're trying to think of something to do. I suddenly remember the fishing lessons that Julia told me about. I'm already pretty good at fishing as a fox, but it does have its downsides, like having to get all wet and ending up with scales in my teeth. I know some people go fishing for fun, so maybe I'd like it too. At the very least, it could be useful to know someday. Besides, it's not like I've got anything better to do. Down at the waterfront, there's a big crowd like always. The merchant booths that Julia pointed out to me have long lines and clusters of people in front of them. Right along the water, there are fishermen selling all kinds of fresh fish. The smell, mixed with the salty sea air, is making me hungry. I wander over to the spot that Julia pointed out to me. Today there's half a dozen people with fishing rods in their hands, lines out in the water. They're all spaced apart, and behind them is a man who's giving instructions.
Hold on. Don't I know him?
You do! But he doesn't know you! I look closer. Sure enough, it's the man I met on the mountain not too long ago, who taught me what a kiwi is. He paces between the people fishing, adjusting their posture and giving them advice. There's another person helping him out, a younger guy who's untangling lines and preparing supplies. One of the fishermen waves at the instructor for help.
Hey, Mr. Kim, can you give me a hand?
Coming!
Mr. Kim practically skips over and shows the person how to send out that line.
I need some help too. Which bait should I use?
That depends on the fish. Let's take a look.
He bounces around between the group before he spots me and gives me a big hearty wave.
Hello there, miss. Here for a bit of fishing?
Yes, actually.
I was thinking about it.
You've certainly come to the right place. First time fishing?
With a rod, at least. I usually do it with my teeth.
Oh, I can't say I've ever tried that myself, but if you'd like to learn how to do things our way, I'd be glad to show you.
Sure, why not? I came all this way.
That's the spirit. Here, why don't you go ahead and stand here?
I take a spot on the pier and face the water. Mr. Kim goes through how to hold the rod, how to put bait on the hook, and finally how to cast. Once he's done explaining, he steps back to give me some space.
Alright, now let's see what you've got.
Right, so I stand like this and put my hand here.
I do my best to copy everything he showed me, and then with a flick of my wrist I cast my line out to the sea.
Perfect! Nice job! Oh, I forgot to ask for your name.
Miho.
Nice job, Miho. Keep it up and you'll be a master angler in no time.
How long does it take to catch one?
Well, now that depends on the fish. It could be minutes or it could be hours. I've been after the same fish for years.
For years?
Whoa, don't you ever go home?
He laughs and I'm reminded of the first time we met up on the mountain.
I certainly do. But I always come back. Patience is the most important virtue, other than maybe a bit of luck.
Mr. Kim goes to check on the others while I stand there waiting. Doesn't seem like anyone else is getting a bite, so at least it's not just me. Suddenly, one of the other fishes yells with excitement.
I got one! I got one!
They frantically start to reel in their catch. All of us get around to watch.
Steady, steady.
Plant their feet firmly, reeling with all their strength, but it's clear that the fish is fighting
Can you
back.
help?
Of course.
Ooh! Mr. Kim also grabs the rod, and together the two of them manage to land their catch. Everyone, including myself, gasps as the fish breaks through the surface, its red scales shining in the sunlight. Mr. Kim, let's go so the fisher can admire their prize.
Whoa! And isn't she beautiful? Congratulations.
My stomach rumbles just from watching. Unfortunately, after a few more minutes of waiting for my own fish, I still don't get any bites. Finally, it's time to pack up and head home. Mr. Kim catches me before I can leave the pier.
So, what'd you think, Miho? Does it beat the ways you've gone fishing before?
Well, I haven't caught a fish yet.
It was okay. I didn't catch anything in the end. But it was cool to watch you and that other person get one.
It's like that sometimes. You just have to keep trying. I hope we'll see you around again sometime.
Yeah, maybe. Thanks for showing me all that stuff.
In the end, it was a lot of just standing around. What he said about needing patience makes sense, but if I'm looking for something fun to do, then I'm not sure if this was exciting enough. But it was kind of relaxing, and I do still think it would be useful to learn. Either way, I'm glad I came and checked this place out. Now to go see if Judith keeps any seafood in the fridge at the library. For some reason, I kind of doubt that she would be keeping any seafood. Actually. Like, for someone who doesn't need to eat, especially if there's no taste, why would you keep seafood of all the things you could be keeping? I decided to go give fishing another try. Last time wasn't very successful, but maybe I'll have more luck today. When I get to the fishing spot, I see a few familiar faces. Mr. Kim is there, of course, dancing around between the students. This time he notices me right away.
Hello, miss. Is that a new face I spy?
Yep, I wanted to do some fishing today.
That's the kind of attitude I like to see. Let's get you started.
I take a spot on the pier while he brings me the same equipment as last time.
Alright, let's start with the basics. Do you know how to set up your line?
I think so.
It didn't seem that difficult last time, but when I tried to recreate what I did, I end up getting a little confused.
Okay, so put the worm on the string. Oh, wait, no, the hook. The hook goes on the string, and then... Oh, I messed it up.
The string has gotten all tangled on itself. No self-respecting fish is going to be interested in that.
Not to worry.
Oh no! No! Oh! He laughs at his own joke as he comes over and quickly undoes the knot.
Okay, let's try again.
Takes some time, but eventually I'm ready. Fortunately, I remember this next part better. I stand like he showed, hold the rod like he showed me, and let the line fly. I watch it excitedly as it sails overhead and splashes into the water.
Excellent job. Why, if I didn't know any better, I think I taught you myself.
Well, clearly you don't know any better. I just smile in response. With my problem solved, Mr. Kim goes off to assist someone else, while I turn my attention back to the sea.
Here, fishy fishy.
I'm ready. No fish will be getting away from me today. The instant I feel a tug, I'll be reeling it in, just like the other person when I came here before. Just gotta wait. Wait. And wait.
Nothing's biting.
It happens.
Mr. Kim pops up seemingly out of nowhere.
Just give the fish some time. You'd be shy too if someone started offering you a meal out of nowhere.
Well, he's got me there. I nod and keep waiting, but I can feel the boredom sinking in. I was willing to give fishing a second chance, but if it's just gonna be like this every time, then I probably won't be coming back. Suddenly, I feel a fishing pole jerk in my hands. Takes me by surprise and I almost let go, but managed to hold on tight.
Oh, I think something's biting.
Reel it in! You can do it!
Right, reel it in. To do that, my head is spinning as I try to remember what to do. Meanwhile, the reel is spinning as the fish, my fish, tries to get away. He smacks my hand, jolting my memory.
Oh, yeah.
I grab it and start turning it the other way, pulling the rod towards myself as I do. I can feel the fish still out of sight, struggling against me.
Not today.
All the time I spent waiting has made me extra determined. I plant my feet firmly and keep reeling. Gradually, the line gets tighter and tighter until finally the fish breaks through the water, dangling on the other end.
I did it!
Woo!
You did it!
I bring the fish in to where I can see it more closely. It's not as big as the fish I watched get caught last time, but it's not tiny either. Just down in the pier, someone else is reeling in a catch too.
So, what are you gonna do with it?
Huh? What do you mean?
Maybe he's asking how I plan to cook it.
Will you be keeping it or letting it go?
Let it go? I just worked hard to catch it.
Mr. Kim laughs. Behind him, the person who just caught something takes a picture of the prize and then tosses it back into the water.
Why did they do that?
Well, everyone has to eat. That's just part of life, and I love a good fish dinner as much as anyone. But some just enjoy the sport and the struggle, and release the little guy once he's been defeated.
I see. I look at the fish I caught, its tail flapping gently. There's a mark on its mouth that doesn't look natural.
What's that?
I point to it so Mr. Kim can see. He only has to glance at it.
Looks like it isn't this fellow's first time being caught. That is a battle scar.
Scar? So he's been caught before and either got away or was released. It's up to me to decide if his luck runs out or not. Sighing, I unhook the fish and then toss it back into the water where it instantly swims down and out of sight.
Try to be more careful next time.
If I was hungry, it would be a different story, but my belly's full and Julia just went shopping, so there's plenty of food at home. So I figured I might as well let this one go. Walking up beside me, Mr. Kim looks out at the sea.
You know, maybe that kindness will come back to you someday. I'm sure the fish appreciates it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how useful it is to have a fish owe me a favor, but I know what Mr. Kim means. I'll hand him back the fishing pole and box of lures that he gave me.
Done for the day?
Yeah, now that I've gone to see what it's like.
Well, if you decide to join us again, the fish will be here. And so will I.
Maybe I will too. Thanks for the help.
Of course, of course. The pleasure is
Doesn't
all
even
mine.
ask her for her
Have a
name
good
this
day,
time
miss.
around. I wave and head back up the pier. I mean, he's gonna forget anyway, but... Technically, we could just not be doing Lena's events. because we've already got her achievement, we've already seen her ending part, but I'd feel bad if I did that. Feeling bored, I head down to the waterfront and Mr. Kim's fishing lesson. This will be the third time that I've gone. I was prepared to give up last time, but actually catching a fish was a lot more satisfying than I thought it would be. I'm sure I'll keep doing it in the future too. I guess that makes it one of my hobbies at this point. At the very least, it's been better than just wandering around town. When I get there, I'm surprised to find the fishing spot is empty other than Mr. Kim himself. He's sitting on a folding chair with a sandwich in one hand and a book in the other. He sets down both as he notices me arriving.
Hey there, miss. Something I can help you with?
Oh, I was here to go fishing, but it doesn't look like anyone else is here.
If you're looking for a lesson, then I'm afraid the pool's closed. Which is to say, the next one doesn't start for a couple of hours. But if you just want to try your luck with the ocean, you're more than welcome to borrow a rod.
Sure. Thanks.
Now that I know what to do, I don't really need Mr. Kim to walk me through it each time. I should be fine on my own. I touch a lure and then cast my line out into the water.
I hope I don't catch the same fish as last time.
Since there's not much else to do, I look out at the sea while I wait. It's been a long time since I've been on a ship or even a boat. A long time ago, they were the best way to get around. But ever since there started being airships going all over the world, I sneak into those instead. While I'm standing there reflecting, Mr. Kim comes up beside me.
No bites yet?
Nope. Nothing.
Reeling the mermaid fables. Oh god.
Maybe the fish all went out to eat.
Like usual, he takes a moment to laugh at his own joke.
That's fine. I had to wait even longer than this last time.
That's the right attitude to have. They can keep you waiting for a while.
You've been waiting for a long time for a certain fish, right?
Spot on.
You
Told you
did!
about that.
I took one of your lessons a while ago. You told me about it then.
Huh. Well, my memory sure isn't what it used to be.
It's not your fault.
Anyway, you're absolutely right. Not just any fish. He's the king.
Okay.
The king?
The way Mr. Kim says it sounds dramatic.
Yes, the king of the ocean.
Uh-huh.
He travels the waters of the world, all on his own. He takes his meals from a different fisher every night. It's said that if he chooses you, you'll have 7 years of good luck.
He winks, giving me a big thumbs up.
Not a bad deal for catching a fish, right?
7 years. Wow.
Sounds pretty nice, doesn't it? To tell you the truth, I don't care too much about that. But the privilege of being recognized by the king of the ocean, now that is a prize worth chasing.
So...
He wants to catch
he's always
shellfish.
flying around the world.
I tried to picture it in my head. That's a lot of water.
He only comes by once a year. 1 day is all you get, and then he's on to his next stop. And then the next fisherman.
I see. And when's he gonna come by this year?
No wonder you've been waiting for so long then. How many years have you been after him?
Oh, I've given up counting at this point. 16, 17, who's to say? I stopped keeping track at least 5 years ago. I've seen him once, which is more than many can say, but he swam right past our shores. I heard he was landed a few towns
What
away.
kind of fish is that?
I'll bet he must be huge if he's the king.
He's not tiny, that's for sure. His scales are every color at
Ooh,
once,
a
and they
rainbow
look
fish.
like gemstones in the water.
Whoa. I want to see him.
You'll get your chance in a few months. He's due to swim past Wellington a couple of weeks before the new year. You can bet I'll be ready.
Mm-hmm.
I'll try to. What do I have to do?
That's up to you. Some say it's just luck. Some say it's about having the tastiest looking bait. Some say the only thing that matters is where you're standing when he passes by. For me, I try to get to know the fish and the sea. I figure if they trust me, they can put in a good word with the king.
I'm not sure that's how it's going to work, but whatever. Mr. Kim talks to me at Fish and Fishing for a while longer until it's time for me to head off. Although I didn't catch anything again today, I still liked hearing those stories, so it wasn't a waste of time. At the end, he invites me to come back and fish anytime, whether it's a lesson or not. Promise to take him up on his offer, even though I know he won't remember it. I'd like to see this king too. There's still a couple months before he'll be there, so there's plenty of time for me to get better at fishing. With a new goal in mind, I head back home, already looking forward to returning. It's just gonna be like all of his events, and then we're gonna somehow get back to Juliet's route. I'm so sorry. But I feel like it would be even worse if we went through with one ending of Juliet, only to have to go back through the entire game to catch up on these scenes that are gonna be scattered until the fucking end. Like, I'd rather be doing them while we're going through another playthrough. Makes more sense. This is the part where they ask her if she wants to start learning how to read and write. Ah, the museum. Oh no, museum. Finding out about Jongin, and then meeting Silva for the first time. Which means one of the next things sometime soonish should be... Oh! Waterfront is always a bit of a tourist hotspot, but I suppose I'm not immune to being curious about tourist attractions. This time I take a note of a capsule machine that dispenses fortunes. I don't know how much I believe in fortune telling because I don't know that much about it, but this machine's whole gimmick is that it has a magical golden fish in it that supposedly came out of the bay and lays eggs that tell your fortune. Of course, the fish is fake and its eggs are little round capsules that you exchange a coin for. Just so happens I have a coin rolling around with the lint in my pocket, so I give it a go. The golden fish wiggles artificially as the machine groans with age and releases a fish egg. A little bit cute. I see why the tourists like this thing. Pop the orange capsule open and take the paper that's inside. Why am I saying capsule like that? Just realized I can't read this. Totally forgot that the fortune would be all text. Oh well, I'll bring it to someone who can read it to me later. I hope it's something good. Oh, we have not been to this place before. Huh. I thought I had checked out all of those places during free time. Yeah, the little water spirit story. Okay. And now it's gonna be Cosette, right? Yeah, they're going to the cemetery. And then there's this little almost fight. Well, it is a fight. It's not an almost fight, it is a fight. And then they make up some time and go to the botanical garden. Exactly. We're still one of the most gorgeous artworks the game has, I think. The one where they're all hugging is so pretty. Alright. Almost there. Can skip all of this now as well because we just literally just read it, so. Even the waterfront is really just the best on a clear day. Oh no, are you telling me the waterfront has different text? Time and time again. See. Take a long, refreshing sit and enjoy the seemingly endless expanse of water. Sometimes it's nice to just enjoy the sight of nature without any expectations. But my patience is rewarded with the sight of dolphins passing by. They're far away, just the smallest glimpses of dorsal fins moving in a group, but they're unmistakably dolphins. I whip my head around, it doesn't seem like anyone near me has noticed them, but I guess nobody else is really staring out into the horizon either. What a nice surprise. So me, saving like literally everywhere to try and go through all of these places was not even that stupid of an idea. Good to know. Exercise time, see you afterwards. Okay. The fish market is in full force right now. Rows and rows of displays tidily showing off freshly caught fish with lines of people twisting all around the market, waiting to purchase the goods. As I walk through the crowds, the dead eyes of hundreds of fish seem to pierce my soul. Don't get me wrong, I'm not squeamish about raw fish in the slightest. I mean, I've caught and eaten plenty of fish as a fox before. But isn't there something a little morbid about lining up their little bodies for everyone to ogle? If it were me, I'd just eat them right after catching them. That's when they're best, and it seems more respectful to the fish. Guess that's why they're the Martians and not me. I'm gonna be stuck at like 99% of stuff seen, and it's gonna be like one of the flavor text thingies depending on where you go on a specific date, I swear to God. Now, Aspen goes to her parents' place. And then we say, I'm so sorry. Well, we don't actually say we're sorry for not dating her because she's gonna forget about us. It is sad though. That's a very sad beginning to a story just so you can date the other person. And you must be Miho. Yep. Alright, how far along were we? I'll know as soon as it stops skipping. Because then it's new text, but... Right. They try out the video call thing. And then they found out, hey, the video call works. We're like, hey, Aspen, are you... Aspen. Hey, Juliet, are you okay? And Juliet's like, I don't talk about myself. Now that I can be remembered, I decide to go introduce myself to Mr. Kim for what should be the last time. Before the day ends, I head to the waterfront and wait for him to not be busy with someone else.
Hello, miss. Here to fish?
Hi. Actually...
I give him an explanation of my magic, as well as run through the things he's shown me and told me. When I'm done, he rubs his chin and laughs.
You know, that all makes perfect sense. I could remember some of those things, but not who I was with. I've been thinking it was my memory starting to fail on me. Glad to hear it's just magic. And as for us, Miho, well, I suppose that makes you my new old friend then.
Yeah. Nice to meet you again. He sticks out his hand and it takes a second for me to realize I'm supposed to shake it, but I do. We exchange phone numbers and he promises to keep in touch so that he won't forget about me again.
Talk to you later. Good night.
Meeting Silver again. So Silver's also just a staple event. Okay. After my late night encounter with Silver, I decided to sleep in a little bit longer than usual. But when I head downstairs for breakfast, I find that I've still beaten Aspen to it.
Good morning, Miho.
Hi.
Morning.
They're the usual 3 places said, but only Juliet occupies the table. I take my seat as well.
No Aspen? I guess I can call her if I need to.
She sent me a message to say that she'll be here, but that she's running late this morning.
Right on cue, the front door opens and Aspen hurries inside, clutching some papers as well as her bag to her chest.
Hello. Sorry I'm late.
Hi.
It's no trouble.
We were just talking about you. You've got pretty good timing, huh?
Only sometimes. Speaking of which, I can't stay too long today, but there was something I wanted to talk to you both about in person.
What is it?
Let me catch my breath for a moment.
Aspen collapses into her seat, leaving her bundle of stuff on her lap. There's already a mug of coffee prepared for her by Juliet, which Aspen gulps down in a matter of seconds. Both Juliet and I watch in odd silence as Aspen scarfs down her meal in an equally short amount of time. I haven't touched my food at all yet. I'm not sure how she's supposed to catch her breath like this.
Did you forget to eat yesterday or something?
Shaking her head, Aspen shoves another piece of bread into her mouth, chewing and swallowing quickly. Finally, she puts down her utensils and sighs.
I'm in a bit of a hurry today.
You got places to be?
Something tells me it's not on behalf of the Bell House.
No, not this time. The opposite, in a sense. I received this in the mail yesterday, after I got home from work.
She picks up the paper she brought with her and sets it on the table for us to see. It's a small envelope with a smaller letter inside. Aspen slices the letter out and starts to read.
It says, "Dear Miss Benoit, we appreciate your manuscript submission and commend you for your success in completing a novel."
Is she still gonna, like, absolutely beat herself up over over this?
Unfortunately, we do not find that it fits the criteria we're currently searching for, and as such,
No,
must
that's
respectfully
just her getting
decline.
rejected.
Best wishes, Purple Penguin Publications.
It takes me a minute to actually comprehend what she's saying. With everything else that's been going on involving Aspen, I had forgotten all about her book.
Oh, Aspen. I'm so sorry to hear that.
No, it's all right. I wasn't expected to get accepted by everyone I sent it to. It's not the first notice I've received either. However, there are some revisions I'd already been thinking about making.
Oh!
And receiving this rejection notice inspired me to actually begin on them. I stayed up late last night making changes, which is why I was so late
But she
to arrive.
sounds way happy about it this time around.
If and when I do find someone that will take it, I'm sure they'll be glad to know I've already begun making improvements.
How many are you still waiting to hear back from?
I don't even remember, to be honest. I mailed it to at least a dozen publishing houses. Maybe even twice that.
Whoa, that's a lot. At least one of them has to say yes, right?
Not necessarily.
That's my hope as well. However, I'm going to need to spend a lot more time working on it than I have been. Now that there's a draft complete, I can see all the different areas I need to touch up. So I won't be able to come by for breakfast quite as often. Now that I can call Miho, I'll check in that way every morning. But I won't be here in person as much.
All three of us paused, taking in the significance of Aspen's words. With only a couple exceptions, she's been here for breakfast almost every day that I've been in Wellington. It never crossed my mind that she might stop doing that at some point.
You'll be missed, of course, but that's quite exciting to hear. I can't wait to be able to put a copy of your novel on the library's shelves.
Please, that's still a long, long way off. Picturing that has been a motivator for myself as well, though.
Will we still see you again?
Of course, I'm not dead, you know. Just busy.
Right.
I asked Regina if I might be able to reduce my hours at the Bell House some, too. She wasn't thrilled, but she understood.
Dang it. Now how will I get free coffee?
You'll just have to pay like everyone else, I'm afraid. Or come by when I'm working. I'll still be there just as many days, but not for such long shifts.
Will you be coming to the library to write?
Occasionally, I'm sure. But it's easy to get distracted when I'm here.
Makes sense.
At home, I can just turn off my internet and get to work. That's what I tell myself I'll be doing, at least. Unfortunately, I do need to run for now. Since I overslept, I had to ask Lena to open without me. I have to get there before she burns the whole place down.
No wonder you were in such a rush.
Indeed. There's only so much time in the day, after all. But I wanted to say all this in person, since it may be a while before we see each other again.
Aspen carefully returns the letter to the envelope and then tosses that into her bag as she stands up.
Thank you for breakfast. It was lovely, as always.
You're most welcome. I hope you'll be able to join us again soon.
Bye, Aspen. Good luck.
Thank you. See you two later.
I wave goodbye until Aspen's out of the library with the door shut behind her. When I turn back to face Juliet, she's staring ponderously in the same direction.
You think she'll be okay?
Hmm.
I'm surprised she's doing as well as she is, all things considered. I had worried that receiving a rejection, which was nearly inevitable, would break her spirit. But it seems to have done the opposite.
Yeah.
Even though Aspen talks about how important her writing is to her all the time, it's something that I've always taken for granted about her. It's like how Juliet never leaves without her parasol, Aspen always has a pen and notebook with her. At some point I got so used to seeing them that I stopped really noticing. Now though, our whole routine will be different. Even though I know it's not a big deal and that I'll see her every day, at least in a video call, it feels like the last part of my former friendship with Aspen is gone. Just another reminder that everything changes whether I want it to or not. Sitting there in silence with Juliet, I can't help but think about her own sadness yesterday morning. Aspen isn't the only one who needs to be worried. Isn't the only one who needs to be worried about.
Are you feeling any better today?
Even if she doesn't want to give me the details, I figured it's safe to ask. Sure enough, she smiles at me.
I am, thank you. I'm sorry for leaving the way I did.
It's okay. I understand. You didn't hurt my feelings or anything, but I could tell you were hiding something.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to tell me what it was, though.
She nods, looking at me intently like she's searching for something. After a couple seconds, I have to look away, unable to maintain eye contact for much longer.
Miho, could I ask you to keep a secret?
Oh.
From everyone, but especially from Aspen.
Depends on what it is.
Yeah.
As I say that, I can feel my throat tighten. What could she possibly want to tell me and only me? Biting her lip, Juliet thinks about if she really wants to say whatever it is. Finally, she looks away from me and instead gazes out the window where the blinds cover most of the light.
I might be leaving soon.
What? Huh?
Oh, where are you going?
To the underworld, most likely.
What?
But
Oh.
That's all I can say. Oh. It's one of the last things I would have expected from her. The idea of Juliet not being here is as inconceivable as the sky not being here.
As I said, it's only a possibility right now. Hardly a commitment or a guarantee.
Why, though?
It's simply something I've been contemplating.
Once the initial shock wears off, I fly to my feet, smacking the table as I lean forward.
What about Aspen, though? What about the library? What about everything?
What about me? I want to ask, but I don't.
Those are questions I've been pondering too. Someone else could take over the library in my stead. Most of the books and other items could remain here. Or perhaps this place could be reborn as something other than a library. It would be the decision of whoever came after me.
Absolutely the fuck not.
As for Aspen, I'm sure she'd be sad at first, but she has her own life, and other things to fill it with. Her writing, her friends, her work.
You are one of her friends. Please keep that in mind, thank you.
Aspen's strong, as we've seen.
Why don't you want me to tell her?
My voice comes out just a whisper.
I'll tell her when the time is right. There's no need to have it weighing on her mind when it may not even come to pass.
I slump back into my seat, staring at the ground. I still can't fully believe what I'm hearing. And yet, how could I not understand?
And as for you, Miho.
Slowly I look back up, meeting her gaze, only for her to glance away immediately.
I'm sorry. I'd stay in touch, of course. With you and with Aspen. Phones work in the underworld nowadays.
Ain't that nice? Although she smiles as she says that, we both know it's a small consolation. She drops it almost immediately.
I'm sorry.
To my own surprise, I managed to shake my head.
No, don't be sorry. I get it. I mean, I don't get it, but I do. What it's like to have to leave or be somewhere else. I know that feeling.
Gently, Juliet reaches across the table, the tips of her fingers barely touching my hand.
You'll always have a home here. with or without me. The library is yours if you want it.
I shake my head again. I know I don't want that. The library only exists because of Juliet. It's only home because of Juliet. Without her, it's just a building, just 4 walls and a roof. That's usually how a building works, yes. It feels like those walls are closing in. I take a deep breath, pushing down the rising feeling inside me.
You said your mind's not made up, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Ah! I have reasons for leaving, but I have reasons to stay as well.
That just means I have to find a way to make you want to stay.
If I think of this as a task, as a problem to be solved, then it's easier. I can't act like it's already too late and let myself go overwhelmed with bad feelings. Juliet's jaw drops, but like always, she quickly regains her composure. I can't help but notice the way she struggles to find words at first.
I couldn't ask that for you. Besides, you and Aspen are already 2 of those reasons. The biggest 2, in fact.
What about the opposite? The ones that make you want to leave?
Those are... more complicated.
Hmm?
I'm sorry, Miho. I know how this must all come across to you. It's difficult for me to explain when I'm still sorting out my own feelings, though. I promise I'll tell you when I can.
Good evening! Hello, hello? We look across the table at each other. It's uncomfortable making eye contact like this, and a big part of me wants to look away, but also I can feel there's something different about this moment. Like I'm really seeing Juliet, and I can tell that she's being as honest with me as she can. Maybe for the first time ever, I can tell that this isn't easy for her either. Finally, I'm not staring at our linked hands. I really do understand.
I won't tell Aspen, like you asked.
Thank you.
But that doesn't mean I won't try my best to make you want to stay either. Can you tell me one thing, though?
She hesitates, tensing up. I'll just ask.
Does it have anything to do with the other vampire who came here a few days ago?
No, whatever made you think that? Her shoulders relax and her lips curve just barely upwards.
I should have known you saw him.
Sorry. I wasn't trying to. He flew right past my window, though.
It's fine. It's not a secret. That was Ezekiel.
Hmm.
A vampire much older and wiser than I.
Sure sounds like it.
Prefers to keep his own company, which is why you haven't met him. Very few people have. To answer your question, somewhat. We first met in the underworld, but he also came to the overworld before I did. When I first arrived here, he was the one who offered me guidance and advice. He even helped me get here in the first place. Now, many years later, he too is preparing to return home. For a long, well-deserved rest. When I heard of his intentions, it planted the seeds of that in my mind. Or rather, helped it take root. It had already been on my mind.
I see.
It makes sense that she'd know other vampires even if I never see them myself. I wonder what he must be like for Juliet to call him wise. Juliet leans back in her chair, retracting her hand with a sigh.
Thank you for hearing me out. Will you be okay, Miho?
Well, we'll see about that.
Yeah, I'm fine. Just surprised is all.
I know. I thought you would be, but... I didn't want to hide it from you any longer.
Thanks. I'm glad you told me. It makes the other stuff make sense too.
Quite sadness when she looks around, the way she talks about the library. In her heart, she's already said goodbye, hasn't she? We both stand up, ready to go our separate ways. Although I feel shaken by our conversation, I'm also relieved to understand her a little more. It's better than just wondering. With one final smile, Juliet passes me by.
Good night, Miho.
Night.
I slowly make my way to the front desk and sit down, getting started on autopilot. Making Juliet want to stay will be hard, especially on my own. And is it even fair for me to try? She never pressured me to stay here. She just gave me reasons to want to. I think that's the most important part. They have to be her reasons, not mine. Trying is all I can do. If it's not enough, then it's not enough. Either way, there's one thing that I know for sure. I need to make every minute I can spend with her count. Sounds good. Oh, my ears. My ears? My eyes. Weird. I'm so tired. Ah, right. So I think, yeah, I have one save of that exact scene already, but on a different... What did we say last time? Last time we said the bell house because he ho ho was Aspen's route, so we're gonna go with the library this time.
Right here at the library. It's where I can relax, have a meal, or take a nap. Being out in the city is fun, but nothing beats being at home.
That does sound really nice. I think it's hard to feel like you belong somewhere
Give her
until
the
you
pen
find a
night
special
time.
place for yourself.
So right now, my answers, Chella puts down her pen. Hoppa. Man, gonna go to the waterfront repeatedly. Oh no, this one we had already. Maybe there's like different flavor texts for all of them, and some of them you just have to try several times. How to change position once again. Have to be careful not to make you safe instead of hydrate. Oh, I'm so sorry. I don't actually know how they're ordered. I just made it and it jumped up. Oh, right. They're ordered by how much they cost. And because I made saving super cheap, it's up there. Unlock an emote. That has been there all the time, though. Those are the 5 that Twitch like gives you as a hi. You could try this thing. I never touched those at all. Later that evening, sitting up in my bedroom, I take a spot on the windowsill again and look out.
I wonder if those kids found something to write about.
They probably did. We get students visiting the library all the time, but I've never met any others who came from so far away like Cello and her friends. I wonder what it must be like to go on a big adventure like that with the people you care about. I bet it would make traveling more fun to have someone to talk to. It would be nice if I was able to do that. I like being here in Valley, but I know that someday I'll have the urge to journey again and see more of the world. I'd love to show Juliet some of the places I've been. She's helped me make Wellington my home, so I'd like to show her where I come from. What made me who I am. That's part of why I have such mixed feelings about what she told me yesterday. Even if she did go back to the underworld, it isn't like I'd never be able to see her again. It would just be a lot less often. We've seen each other a little bit today, but haven't really talked much since breakfast. I'd like to spend some time with her though, especially if I may not have many more chances to do that. He was right on a quick glance what's next to hydrate. Ah! Wait, hold on. What is... Wait, where are they? Well, okay, right now it's showing me to save your game because it's the newest one. Ah. Oh yeah, choose an emote and modify a single emote. I see. I slip on my shoes and head down to the study where there's a flick of lamplight from under the floor. I knock 3 times, just like she always does.
Come in.
I open the door to find her at her desk, a pen in her hand. Of course she smiles when she sees me.
Good evening, Miho. What brings you here?
Couldn't sleep.
Not much. I just wanted to come see you. Are you busy?
Not at all. Would you like to sit?
Yeah, sure.
She sets her pen aside and puts some papers into a drawer as I sit down across from her. They probably come from one of her research projects. In my hand, that's the main thing she uses this room for.
Would you like some tea?
Nah, I'm good. Thanks.
Oh, you can own... Really? Oh, that's sad. I mean, granted, I don't have that much to show for tier 2 and 3. But still, that's sad that you can't even unlock them with that thing. She prepares a cup for herself, and as we sit there quietly, I realize that I don't actually have a plan for how to hang out together. It feels easier to talk to Aspen a lot of the time, mostly because she likes to tease me or has things to complain about. When I'm with Juliet, we talk less, which I don't mind myself. It's not that I don't like talking with her, of course, but more like I don't always have something to say. Aspen has her writing in the bell house, whereas Juliet just has the library and the past. Scratching noise in a corner gets my attention, and I look over to see a couple bats hanging from one of the rafters. Juliet follows my gaze, gazing fondly at the creatures.
Jasper and Fiddlesticks found it a little cold for their liking, so they've been warming themselves inside for a while.
Jasper and Fiddlesticks! Mentally, I thank the bats for giving us something to chat about.
How'd you come up with their names?
I call them after characters from books or acquaintances I once knew for the most part. The names are more for me than for them.
Do they answer to them?
Oftentimes, yes. Although I'm sure it's also a convenience for my sake.
Makes sense. Words are hard when you're just an animal. Back with my person, I could understand anything they said to me. Just the way they said it. It took a long time as a Gumiho before I learned enough words to understand. Before that, they were just sounds I'd memorized.
I imagine it's like that for Fiddlesticks and the others. Just sounds that they can recognize.
When I hear Fiddlesticks, I have to think of the League character. One of the bats flaps its wings, adjusting itself but remaining hooked to the ceiling.
Do you ever talk to them as a bat?
No. Though I'm sure they can sense that part of me. I imagine it's why they chose the library as their roost. Cosette used to call them pets. They've always been wild. Still, she was the one who first began naming them.
Whoa! They've been coming here for that long?
Not the same bats, mind you. The ones Cosette knew are long gone. Jasper, Fiddlesticks, and the others are from many generations later.
That makes sense. I do not know the average lifespan of a bat, but I assume it's not as long as a vampire.
I'm glad that somehow they had knowledge of this place passed down to them.
Just like the people.
Yes, just like them.
History, generations, family. It never really dawned on me how Juliet's built her entire life around these ideas. Hearing about her research for people who was one thing, but it doesn't stop there. Even the bats have a legacy. And Juliet's been there for all of it. When I think about it that way, I feel I can start to understand her reasons for wanting to leave. How much there is for her to miss. But also, her words give me an idea. I may struggle with saying things sometimes, but maybe we don't have to use words to have fun.
Hey, do you want to go somewhere?
I became an actual demon quite a while ago. Oh, really? I think at this point, what I know, like gameplay-wise and character-wise from League from back when I played, is not like it's not the same game anymore. Like even the basic way, like getting skins works now. Is like, huh? Even got a nice jump scare animation video. Ooh, cool. By the way, do you think they're gonna make another season of Arcane? Like, did they announce anything like that? Or is it just something everyone's hoping for now?
I don't mind. But what did you have in mind?
I was thinking maybe we could go for a walk. Since we're not always awake at the same time like this, I wanted to spend some time with you.
Juliet blinks several times, something I've seen Aspen do when she's surprised, before settling into her usual calm warmth.
I'd like that very much. But isn't it late for you?
It's okay.
It's fine. I'm not that tired. Besides, you're always staying up to talk with me, so it's only fair.
I'm gonna try very hard to stay awake for like another half hour, a little more than that.
I see. I certainly can't say no to that. Give me just a moment to get ready, and I'll meet you outside.
I will admit I'm extremely tired though.
Okay.
I should have taken that nap. You think they're working on most you've seen of speculations. I see. I mean, if they're working on it, if they're making another season, it's gonna take several years to come out in the first place anyway. But I liked it a lot. I would be interested in seeing another season. I go downstairs to wait, leaning against the front porch. I may not be able to show her the places I want to, but I can show her one of my favorite things instead. Juliet joins me after a minute and I lead us off.
It's been a while since we've gone on a walk like this, hasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, when we delivered some papers, right? I just started staying at the library last time.
And now here you are, leading the way. Are we going to Mount Victoria by chance?
How could you tell?
Yup. Is that okay?
Of course. It's been quite some time since I've been there either.
Was the last time when you came to my den?
Indeed it was. You've gone back a few times though, correct?
Yeah, it's one of my favorite spots.
I leave out the part about going back to my den in particular since it involves Silver.
Actually, there were these kids who came into the library today. One of them asked me some questions like what my favorite place in Wellington is. They're doing a school project, so they'll probably come back again.
That's lovely. You've become a Wellington expert.
I don't know about that. I told them you and Aspen would probably be more helpful. They came all the way from another country.
Oh, how nice. I'd be happy to assist if they do return.
Cool! I'm sure they'd like that.
Nice. Streetlights illuminate the way for us, although neither of us would really have trouble seeing in the dark. We don't see any of the pedestrians, and the cars that pass by are few and far between. We reach the mountain and I guide us off the trail and into the brush, although I take a different direction than usual. I'm not looking for Silver this time, although I wouldn't be surprised if she's observing silently close by. We reach the... Ugh. My bad. After a little bit of walking, I find an area that fits what I was hoping for, open and away from the path. When I stop, Julie looks around, understandably confused.
What is this place?
Just an open area. I've never been here before. Seeing the bats in your office gave me an idea, though.
And what might that be?
I just want to go for a walk, like I said.
Oh!
Except not in these forms, but our other ones. I know we just came all the way here, but you said you don't spend much time as a bat, right?
I want to see what she looks like as a bat.
I haven't been spending a whole lot of time as a fox lately either, but it's something I like to do. So, maybe...
I trail off a little nervous. Maybe I should have told Juliet my idea before making her come all the way out here in case she doesn't want to. To my relief though, her face lights up the night.
I'd love to.
Yeah!
Okay, cool.
I can't help but grin in response. Then I close my eyes, focusing on my bead and tapping into my magic. When I transformed a couple nights ago to track Silver, it felt a little stiff and unfamiliar because it was my first time doing it in a while. Now it feels natural again. I open my fox eyes and spread my tails, looking up at Juliet, who hasn't changed yet. She regards me curiously. Now that I think about it, she's never seen me like this before. Whatever she might be thinking though, she keeps to herself. Instead, she closes her eyes like I did and lifts her arms to her sides. Look at that! If you ignore the wings, she looks like a potato, a very furry potato. Like her entire body's just potato shaped. Her limbs shrink like mine before expanding back out into the shape of wings as she becomes a bat. She gives them a few shaky flaps, fighting to keep herself in the air. Takes a few more flaps, but she gets the hang of it quickly, coasting in a circle over my head at an even pace. Once I'm sure she's ready, I turn tail and start to run. Oh my god, that's so cute! Look at her face! It's so adorable. Oh my god. The cool night breeze rushes across my fur. Beneath my feet, the earth is soft and damp and perfect for running on. I turn my head to the side to get a glimpse of Juliet. Her eyes are focused straight ahead, and she glides through the air like a knife through butter. She follows me effortlessly as I run up and down hills through her field. Being able to let loose and just run like this is something I've missed doing. I push myself to go even faster, challenging Juliet to keep up. With a few powerful wing strokes, she manages to stay above me, close enough that I can feel the gust of air with each flap. For someone who hasn't done this in a while, she seems to be in pretty good shape. Since I don't have any particular destination in mind, I just lead us wherever it seems greenest and most open. Above us, the stars twinkle merrily while they watch. Suddenly, from the trees in the direction we came from, there's a sound of more wings flapping. Julie and I both turn to see a small flock of other bats coming to join us. I like her, I'm pretty sure these are just regular bats, but they dash and dart around us, following along like they were supposed to meet us here. I can tell what Juliet's thinking, but I hope she's having as much fun as they are and as I am. At the very least, it's something new for her. That has to count for something. I run and run until I've just about worn myself out. As my pace slows down, so does Juliet, until I'm only moving at a slow trot. Juliet has to flap her wings more to stay close, turning circles like the other bats accompanying us. Finally, once I reach a flat grassy area, I come to a halt. I transform back into a person and flop down on my back, looking up at the sky and Juliet.
Alright, I'm beat!
And she's bad. Juliet comes closer to the ground and then changes forms herself. The bats who were with us squeak and disperse, fluttering off in all the different directions. I wave goodbye to them while Juliet watches them go, then she takes a seat on the ground beside me.
My, I haven't had a workout like that in years.
That's nice. That's nice. She fans herself with one hand. It's the first time I've ever seen her look worn out.
It's been a bit for me too. You did pretty good though. I was afraid I might leave you behind by accident.
I certainly had to push myself at times. I'm impressed by you as well. It's much more strenuous to run that far compared to flying.
Nah, I'm pretty used to it. Didn't think we'd have company though.
Nor did I. It was nice to have them join us.
Wiping the sweat from her brow, Juliet gazes up at the stars looking content.
Thank you, Miho. That was quite nice.
I'm glad to hear it.
Glad you had fun. Wasn't sure if you would or not.
It's not the kind of thing I'd have ever done by myself, I'll admit. But I'm glad you brought me out here.
Yeah? Hearing Juliet's words and more importantly being able to see on her face how much she means them makes me feel good, even without many words between us. Rolling over onto my belly, I push myself up and stand.
You must be worn out. Shall we head back to the library?
Yeah, I'm ready if you are. I'll sleep good tonight, that's for sure.
Juliet laughs.
I'll start breakfast a little later in the morning then.
I reach out a hand to help her get to her feet. At first, Juliet just stares like she's unsure what she's supposed to do. But then she grabs it and I now pull her up.
Wanna do this again sometime? We don't have to transform, but I wanna see your favorite places too.
I would love to. Yes, it's a promise.
Looking up at her, her honest, gentle smile illuminated by the moonlight, I want her to stay. I have to give her a good reason to stay. Yippee! I started saying yippee for pretty much every good thing that's happening lately, and it's like, don't be like me. Don't start saying something like that for the fun of it, because it's gonna stick. As evening rolls around, I walk down to the waterfront for a special treat. Both days so far that I've checked in with Mr. Kim, he's been enjoying some kind of delicious-looking meal that his wife prepared. When I mention how I often miss Korean food, he promised to treat me to dinner tonight. Most of the times that I've gone to the fishing spot, it was with food on my mind. I wouldn't have expected this to be the first meal I actually get out of it. He is mostly empty when I get there, aside from Mr. Kim himself. He waves him merrily as I approach.
Oh, Miho! Annyeong!
Annyeong! The ingredient in Korean surprises me, and it takes me a second to respond properly.
안녕하세요.
I'm more than a little rusty when it comes to speaking Korean, but I think I managed to sound okay. Still, using the common language is a lot easier at this point.
Glad you could join me. I've brought us a feast.
Sure enough, he has a few bags full of plastic containers sitting by his chair.
Ooh, thanks. I've been looking forward to this for hours.
Me too. There's nothing like a home-cooked meal to wrap up the day. Go ahead and have a seat.
Speaking of Korean Mr. Kim's, Mr. Kim's Convenience Store was a Netflix show I quite enjoyed, though I'm not fully finished. I'm missing like a few episodes. The worst part is that they just stopped making more seasons. Like it didn't get a proper ending. It was just like, whoops, yeah, you're not getting another season, fuck you. But it was nice. It gets just to another chair as well as a small folding table with a cloth draped over it. Cloth draped over it, Jesus. Mr. Kim hands me a plate and a small bowl and then starts stacking the food on the table. I watch as he lifts box after box from the bags. I'm reminded a little bit of Juliet back when I first got here. Although Mr. Kim accepted my explanation about my magic pretty easily, it's still awfully generous of him to do all this for my sake. I'm definitely not complaining though. I can see kimchi and rice, plus a couple other things that I don't recognize or don't remember the names of.
This all looks delicious. Thanks for bringing it.
Maybe it isn't finished after one season, it's always a gamble. Yeah. Yeah, I'm really getting back into the groove of like watching more anime though. Very proud of myself. Like, I have one anime left that I had started that is from last season that is now finished, which is Body Daddies, where I'm at episode 8 because I'm watching it with a friend. But everything else from last season that is now finished, I have also finished. Like everything that I started watching while it was still airing. I did start watching The Ice Guy and his cool female colleague earlier, which technically is also from last season, but I started after the last episode was out, so I won't count it. It's always like, oh, sure, watching an anime for something that is still has a still ongoing manga as well. That's like double whammy. Because you know, the anime is either going to give it a different ending than what is happening in the manga, or it's gonna end on an open end, and then you're gonna have to maybe get invested in the manga, but the manga's also still ongoing, so
I'll tell my wife. She's the one who did the cooking, and she says she hopes that it reminds you of home.
Oh, that's very sweet.
When was the last time you visited Korea?
It's been a really long time. I don't even know how many years.
No family back there?
Nah, I don't have any. I didn't have any friends until I came to Wellington either.
Ah, of course. But you do now, at least. We may go at different speeds, but eventually we all end up where we're meant to be.
Yeah, I never tried that hard before either. Now that I have a phone and stuff, it's a lot easier.
Well, here's to new old friends then.
He pours 2 cups of cold barley tea and hands me one, then he retrieves an even bigger thermos and carefully fills 2 bowls with its contents. The aroma of chicken and garlic hits my nose the moment he takes off the lid. It's been years since I've had it, but I still recognize that smell immediately.
Is that samgyetang?
It sure is. The nose knows, doesn't it?
I don't know when the last time I had this was.
The soup is made from boiling a chicken with ginseng, and there's sticky rice stuffed into the chicken. The last time I was in Korea, it was a special occasion whenever I was able to enjoy a bowl. It was a lot harder to steal compared to solid food, so the only times I could have it were when I actually spent money to buy some. Modern day Korea is very different from the Korea that I come from, but I still have some good memories from my time there. Finally, after pouring the soup, Mr. Kim hands me a spoon and a pair of chopsticks.
Let's dig in.
I have to carefully arrange all my dishes on the table and on my lap to make everything fit. He pops the tops of the very sides and serves me a bit of each. It's been a long time since I've used chopsticks either, but my hands remember how to hold them. All the food tastes even better than it looks, and it looks pretty good to begin with. From the spicy tang of the kimchi to the rich broth of the soup, everything is amazing. The barley tea is the perfect addition to wash everything down.
Go ahead and eat up. I can always have more at home.
Aw, he's so nice! He leaves most of the food for me, only nibbling on a few things. When all the containers are finally empty, I dig my chopsticks around to scrape up the last few bits and pieces.
That was so good. Thanks again.
Of course, of course. It's always a pleasure to share dinner with a friend.
Thank you.
Do you ever eat the fish that you catch?
Sometimes. Or sometimes I'll go purchase some from the market. Next time, I'll have to bring you some meontang.
Yes, please.
Mr. Kim chuckles and slaps his knees and stands up.
Well, it's about time for me to be heading home. Thanks for the company.
Thanks for the meal.
I help Mr. Kim back up all the empty containers. He loads those into a basket on a bicycle and then, with one last wave, sets off on his ride. For a little bit longer, I stay on the pier and admire the sea, enjoying how pleasantly full I am. Then I start walking home as well. When evening rolls around again, I drift to Juliet's study once again. The doors open and I can see her sitting at her desk inside.
Knock, knock. Come in.
Take the seat across from her. I start to think of it as my seat.
How was your day today?
It was fine. Not too much happened. Do you want to hang out again?
Come to have me make good on my promise already.
Only if you want to. It's fine if you're busy.
I'm never too busy to spend time with you.
Great! Remember, it's your turn to pick where we go this time.
Right. Give me just a moment to prepare, and then we'll be off.
Sure. We come to a stop near the ocean, just the two of us. Lights from the city shine behind us and out on the water. A handful of others glitter from faraway ships. The tide comes in and out, but we stand just outside its reach. Everything is quiet, aside from the soft splashing of the water lapping at our feet. The crisp night air carries a trace of salt. Side by side, Juliet and I both gaze out at the open sea.
It's beautiful.
Juliet nods. During the day, the beach is full of people laughing and playing or relaxing in the sun. This late, however, there are only a few others around, barely more than shadows against the sea.
So this is your favorite place?
Keeping her eyes fixed on a distant horizon, Juliet hesitates before answering.
One of them, yes. I'm not sure that I could choose one above all others. I've always loved the ocean though. I find it calming and serene. Did you know that there are no oceans in the underworld?
Really? No, I didn't know that.
It's true. There are lakes and rivers, but nothing like the sea. I never even witnessed it as a human. When I heard stories, I thought that surely they were exaggerated. Imagine my surprise when I saw it for myself.
Whoa.
I think back to the first time I saw the sea when I followed Jonghyun's trail all the way to its end.
I didn't even know it existed until I saw one. And when I did,
A very,
I
very
thought it was
big
just
lake.
A really big lake.
You must have been just as surprised as I was.
It's always fascinating to me. You know, when people live in areas where they just don't have something specific, like you don't live anywhere near the sea, chances are you have never actually seen any kind of sea for yourself. Same as with people who live in places where there is no snow. Like none. It's like they know the concept of snow, but it's one thing to actually be standing outside when it's actually properly snowing or touching snow, right? Than just hearing about it or seeing everyone else wax poetic about, ooh, it's so white outside. Like we're lucky. We get pretty much everything, a little bit of everything in Germany.
I got on the boat and it took me to China. Not that I knew that. I didn't even know what Korea was, or that I'd left it.
I'm sure it didn't take you long, though. You learn very fast.
Only sometimes. There's some stuff that I learn really slowly.
As do we all. As do we all.
The second time she says it, her voice is softer, almost as if she didn't mean to speak aloud. We stand together in silence again for a couple minutes.
I used to come here all the time. Just to stand and watch the waves. They're calming, I think.
Yeah. It makes me feel really small. Since no matter what, the ocean stays the same, you know? It doesn't care about us. Or about our lives. It just is.
Yeah. Juliet nods.
Precisely. I couldn't have said it better.
Did you come here by yourself?
Sometimes. Not always. Cosette loved the ocean too, of course.
When she was young, she used to say that she wanted to be the captain of a ship and sail all around the world and see all there was to see.
Did she ever do it?
No. The first time she set foot on a boat, she got terribly seasick and never boarded one again. We would go to the beach often, though. This one or others. Even if she couldn't live that dream of hers, she never stopped loving the idea. After she passed away, I would return here on my own nearly every night.
Aww.
Sleep was impossible, but I could gain some measure of peace and rest just by watching the tide.
I see.
Its constant, reliable motion was something I could hold on to. It ebbs and flows, just like life itself.
I glance up at Juliet, half expecting to see tears in her eyes, but there aren't any. Her voice is strong and stable too, not trembling like she's going to cry. She looks down, meeting my gaze, and smiles. For a long moment, neither of us look away. It's like that moment in the library when I felt we were seeing each other for the first time. As we look into each other's eyes, I feel my heart start to beat faster. Even after she peers back out at the water, I feel electrified. Something begins to swirl inside me and to take a shape that I'm starting to understand.
I spent so long in misery and grief that I began to forget it was possible to exist without them. Everything was a painful reminder of what I'd lost, and days that would never come again. And yet, I find that the ocean is still beautiful. Even now, it's more beautiful when beside someone special. Impossibly, unchangingly so. As you said, in the face of such vastness, our petty little lives feel so tiny and insignificant. Years of pain that may feel eternal are really only drops in such a big, big bucket. I think that's what helped me to find some measure of solace and strength to go on.
I'm glad you did.
Me too.
Up in the sky, the blinking lights of a satellite or airship are another reminder of how life goes on around us. They look just like the stars. Standing here next to Juliet, I feel the same kind of quiet warmth that I did last night after our run together. Something from inside myself that feels good and strong and right. The trials and pains that we've been through are very different in nature, but I'm glad that they brought us to the same spot. Besides me, Juliet takes a couple steps forward, a smile back on her face.
Would you care to walk a little?
Sight.
Sure.
We move slowly, following the shoreline, close enough together that I keep bumping into her. The sand makes it hard to walk straight. Juliet doesn't seem to mind though, and for some reason every time it happens I feel a little spark of excitement inside. The tide sloshes in a little bit higher, enough to sweep against our shoes, but we keep going. Shells and seaweed decorate the beach, and I take care not to step on anything that might break. We walk until we reach the far end of the beach, where a few stacked boulders and a pathway lead back into town. The boulders are worn down by the waves that sometimes reach here, and the grass path stops abruptly just before it. I notice something in the dark though, a little green sprout peeking up from the ground beyond where the rest of the plants there grow. Juliet and I stop walking, but my heart continues to pound with a dull thud as that swirling something, that electrified feeling, makes me realize what it is. I can't just realize, but admit to myself. The name of that spark, that feeling, the reason it feels good to stand next to her, to bump into her, to make her smile.
Hey, Juliet?
Somehow I don't feel nervous. Not like Aspen was, because now that I understand, saying this to Juliet just feels right. Just a step or two ahead of me, Juliet turns around to face me. The moon shines down like a spotlight, illuminating her in the darkness. Her expression is unreadable, and I wonder if she knows.
I think I'm in love with you.
A small wave crests, smashing against the shore. It splashes my legs, but I don't mind. I barely notice. I consider saying more about how I remember her words that day when Aspen told me her own feelings, or about how I feel when I'm with her. For once there's a lot I could say, but I choose not to. I said all that I need. With Juliet, so much has always been unspoken that I'm confident she can understand me now. Right now, her eyes go wide, but otherwise she remains unchanged. I wait. Now that I've said that, I don't know what I hope she'll say. Thinking about myself as the kind of person who could be in love still feels weird, but also feels true. Hi! Welcome into Confession Scene 2, Electric Boogaloo. What you missed is that we went out one night and they both turned into their respective animal forms and just ran around. And now Miho just realized that this electric feeling she's feeling right now seems to be a budding love. And my blanket keeps falling down. I will wonder if Juliet's gonna say yes. Well, okay, she didn't ask whether they should go out. She literally just confessed to love. She didn't say anything else yet, so... Oh, also, Juliet told us that she is thinking of maybe going back to the underworld, so... Whatever else that might include and whatever Juliet might feel about me, that's a whole other issue. So is everything else between us, like whether or not she'll be leaving. No matter if she stays or goes, no matter if she feels the same way I do, none of that's important right now. Right now I'm just glad to be able to put a name to these feelings. Finally, Juliet takes a step forward and places a hand on my shoulder. She's touched me lots of times before, but this time I'm hyper aware of her presence. Yeah, the underworld. The underworld is like a physical place, apparently. No, like the actual underworld.
Thank you for telling me, Miho. I must confess that I don't know what to say.
She's
My thoughts are a flutter right now.
It's okay. You don't have to say anything. I just wanted you to know.
Yeah, right, and the underworld doesn't have oceans.
But you deserve a response. I simply don't know how to give it at the moment.
It's okay, take your time.
Would it be okay if we talked about this more tomorrow? I just...
For the first time ever, Juliet seems truly at a loss for words. At Cosette's grave, or when I yelled at her afterwards, or any other time something has happened, she's always managed to regain her composure. But now she seems lost. Honestly, I think I prefer it that way. I reach up and place my hand on hers.
Yeah. That's fine. Really.
Thank you.
Juliet's head lingers on my shoulder a moment longer before sliding out from beneath mine, and I miss it as soon as it's gone.
Wanna go back to the library?
She nods, seemingly relieved. We climb the small slope up to the road and begin walking back together side by side like before. I keep my gaze firmly fixed ahead of me, and I'm pretty sure she does too. Both of us keep our thoughts to ourselves. My heart turns somersaults as we go, filling me with nervous energy without an outlet. Now that I've said them, the enormity of my words and just what they mean for me has begun to sink in. Juliet's kindness and compassion, the memories we've already made together, and the way she understands me in a way that only another fable can. All those things have been pointing in this direction for some time. It's just that I only now figured out where the road was leading. When we get back to the library, we wordlessly hug each other before going our separate ways. In my bed, I lie awake and stare at the ceiling.
I'm in love.
Congratulations. I know what I sound like when I'm lying, and it's not how I sound now. My feelings are real and true, and now they're out there. Tomorrow feels so far away, and yet I don't know what I'm waiting for. What would it mean if Juliet loves me too? What would it mean if she doesn't? I'm still figuring out what it means for me to be in love myself. I haven't gotten to the other parts yet. As I close my eyes though, thinking about her hand beneath mine and the feeling of her arms around me, I can't help but think maybe I'm hoping for more than I can admit. My paws carry me across wet leaves and mud. Fog has crept into the forest as stealthily as me. Glimpses of the sky are rare between the trees and the mist. The wild mountains and hills are hidden as well, out of sight, but not mind. I run, filled by a sense of purpose. It lightens my steps and pulls me in the right direction. I'm going to see someone I care about very much, and who cares about me. Somehow we found each other. My person. A path to follow is engraved in my body and mind, almost instinctual. A warm smile, a gentle touch, a kind word. These are the things that draw me forward. I slow down as I get closer to my destination and to the silhouette waiting for me. It's impossibly bright as I approach, my heart pounding in anticipation like the sun has descended to greet my person too. It matches the feeling in my chest, warming my soul and fur. So bright that when my person turns around, stooping low to greet me, light is all I can see. But I don't need to see, only hear. That voice that I could never forget.
Little fox, where is your home?
They did the same thing on the other route as well. I opened my eyes to my darkened bedroom. My nap must have lasted a couple hours longer than I expected it to. The moon and stars are already out. I can barely remember what I did with the rest of my day before I took my nap. Breakfast with Juliet was quiet and we didn't talk about last night. I'm sure she'll bring it up when she's ready. After a quick check-in with Aspen on the phone, I went through work like a zombie, mindlessly making my way through my tasks. After closing up, I planned to just catch a quick snooze, but the late nights and exercise have been getting finally caught up to me. The last few seconds of my dream replay in my mind while I lie in my bed facing the wall. The touch, that voice, I can't say for sure whose they were. As I come to my senses, I start to notice something out of the ordinary, a sound drifting up from downstairs. Music. Rolling out of bed, I go and crack my door open. Sure enough, the sounds of a violin and piano waft their way up from the library. There's another sound too, Juliet talking to someone. The words are muffled by the distance in the music, but I can tell from the soft tones that it's her. And one of the other vampires, Ezekiel, is here. Ezekiel? I don't hear a second voice though. I draw in a shaky breath to prepare myself and then head downstairs. The music gets loud as I approach the main room until I finally discover its source. Juliet set up an old record player on one of the library tables. A small stack of dusty records sits next to it, the sleeves all frayed around the edges. As I round the corner, the soft murmur of Juliet's words becomes coherent, and I pause for a moment to listen, still out of sight.
Both of them. You and Aspen would make great friends, I'm sure. The two of you have always been such dreamers, born for worlds greater than our own. She's at the start of her own new adventure. I can't wait to see where it takes her. Whatever it takes to make those dreams come true. I know she'll find it within herself.
I start to tiptoe around the corner, curious to see who it is Juliet's speaking with.
And as for Miho...
I freeze again halfway there.
There's simply too much to say about her. I wouldn't even know where to begin. But there is one thing that I'm quite certain of.
I step around the wall to find Juliet at the other side of the room with her back to me. She stands near Cosette's portrait, one hand on the frame, the same as she placed it on my shoulder last night.
I'm sure you would have loved her too.
Both of us remain motionless, locked in place. Did I hear her right? Did I understand her right? A few seconds later, the song that was playing comes to an end, and the sound from the record player becomes soft static as the needle scratches the empty center. It breaks the spell that bound us. Julia turns around slowly, gracefully. Her elegance feels like such a contrast to the way I stand there awkwardly processing what I heard. She acknowledges me with a smile, but walks past me and goes to the record player. She carefully lifts the needle and turns the record over, and then lowers it again. Soon the sound of music fills the air once more. Now Juliet approaches me, one hand outstretched towards me.
Shall we dance?
Okay.
I don't know how.
Even as I say that, I reach out for her as well, placing my hand in hers.
That's okay. It's quite simple. I'll show you.
Juliet gently pulls me forward, and I reach her in just a few steps. She holds our linked hands out to the side and wraps her other arm around me. I just kind of stand there, letting her guide me. My heart feels like it's going to jump out of my chest, but I keep myself calm, focusing on emotions instead. We sway from side to side in time with the music, just turning a small circle in place. It's harder than I expect, and I stumble more than once as I try to mimic what she's doing. I've never been this close to Juliet for so long before, or to any other person. We start to move more as Juliet takes tiny steps around the room, and I do my best to keep up with her, although I'm always half a beat late. Once I step on her foot by accident, and I'm the one who winces.
Sorry.
It's okay.
She takes it in stride, not missing a step. The song ends and another starts and we keep going. Little by little I'm getting the hang of it, although I still feel clumsy and make mistakes. But I'm able to get into the flow, stepping in time with Juliet instead of just after. Just inches away from my face, Juliet looks into my eyes and I gulp nervously but step back, trying to focus on both her and my feet.
I've been thinking quite a lot about what you said yesterday.
Oh yeah?
My voice is barely a whisper, a croak. I can tell that I'm blushing furiously. Being with her like this, I have a feeling I already know what she's going to say, but it doesn't stop my heart from racing. Juliet nods, her forehead almost bumping against mine.
And?
She leans in and kisses me. The music builds to a crescendo as Juliet's lips find mine, and we both close our eyes. I surrender all thoughts and fears, aware of nothing but the feeling of our kiss and the gentle rhythm of our dance. Juliet's fingers curl tightly around my hand and I squeeze back, not needing any words to communicate. With her other arm still around me, Juliet holds me close and tight, and I wrap my free arm around her too. We rock and sway, and as I trust my body to do the thinking for me, I find it easier to move in time with her. The two of us dance around the library as I let her lead and follow, feeling warm and alive and complete. Even when we end our kiss, we stay like this, close together with hands linked tightly. The blush on her face is still there, but I think it looks good on her. I rest my head on Juliet's shoulder and she tilts hers against mine.
And I love you too.
Ooh! As if she even needed to say it. Juliet and I talk and dance and kiss into the night until sleepiness manages to overwhelm my excitement and I have to go to bed. Even as my head hits the pillow, I'm looking forward to waking up tomorrow and seeing Juliet again. When I do open my eyes a few hours later, that feeling of elation hasn't left me and gets me to bounce out of bed and get ready in a hurry. I stare at my own reflection in the mirror as I brush my teeth and wash my face. I don't look any different than usual, of course, but I half expected to. My lips tingle with the memory of Juliet's against mine and the tender look on her face. A look meant just for me. After I finish washing up, I hurry downstairs to breakfast, taking the stairs two at a time. I practically slide into the kitchen.
Good morning, Aspen!
Hi! Oh boy. It's not just Juliet sitting at the table, but Aspen too.
Good morning, Miho, to you.
Miho.
Hello, Miho.
Although Juliet's greeting is pretty typical, there's a new warmth in her voice that makes me blush.
Morning! I thought you weren't going to be coming to breakfast anymore, Aspen.
I said I wouldn't be here as frequently, not that I wouldn't be here at all. Besides, it's a special occasion. It's not every day that your two best friends start dating.
Why do I already know that?
You already know?
It hasn't even been a full day. It hasn't been more than a few hours.
I hope you don't mind. I spoke with Aspen yesterday, in fact.
Nah, I don't. She'd figure it out pretty fast anyway.
Actually, I was hoping I could talk with you as well, Miho. If that's alright.
Oh, sure. What is it?
Mind if we go outside?
I glance at Juliet, who's standing up from the table. She gives us a friendly wave towards the door.
Go on. I haven't started cooking yet, so it'll be a little while before breakfast is ready.
Okay.
I get up and head out the front door with Aspen close behind me. The two of us stand beside each other on the porch, the early morning sun just starting to shine over the hills. Late nights and early mornings, I've had plenty of both, but that's okay. I have things worth staying up for and things worth waking up early for. Next to me, Aspen fidgets with her hair and head while I wait for her to find her words. I seem to be doing that a lot lately too. I have an idea what the topic might be, but not what she wants to say about it. It's the first time we've been alone together since she went home.
So, Miho, you probably remember, even if I don't, that I, said some things to you last time we saw each other.
I was hoping that would have been gone after the whole "you forgot all about us" thing, actually. That broke my heart like 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
How could I forget? I swallow a lump in my throat, trying to just listen to Aspen without getting ahead of myself.
Although the actual memories are a blur to me. I wrote a lot of my feelings down in my journal over the past couple months, including that evening after I left. It's weird, I have to say, to see all that written in my own handwriting, but not to connect to it or feel it anymore.
That's gonna be awful.
But I can tell how much I treasured the time I spent with you. I hope that doesn't sound rude. I know you were and are a very, very important person in my life. And I'm very grateful for all the time we've spent together, both before and after that. You're still, or again, a dear friend of mine. Yesterday, Juliet told me about the two of you. She wanted to make sure I was okay with it before giving you an answer. I swear, she's selfless to a fault sometimes.
She really is.
Anyway, I told her that of course I don't mind. I'm perfectly happy with us remaining as just friends, and I couldn't be more excited for you. Both of you deserve all the joy in the world. I'd been trying to figure out how to talk to you about everything, and what I even wanted to say, so it was relief to have this reason to say it. I'm sorry for putting it off for so long.
It's okay. I wasn't sure how to bring it up either. I'm really glad though. I like being your friend and I don't want that to change, even if we had to start over.
I hold up my arms and Aspen comes forward to give me a hug. It's different from hugging Juliet, of course, but still nice. I'm also relieved to hear how Aspen feels and that she won't be hurt by seeing Juliet and me together. It's still painful to have lost all the time we shared, but at least we're both eager to rebuild it. Aspen pats me on the back before she steps away.
Well, I certainly feel much better after saying all that. Come on, let's go join Juliet again.
Right behind ya.
Back inside, there's a sizzling sound coming from the kitchen as well as the delicious smell of her cooking meat. Aspen and I enter to find Juliet frying bacon as well as preparing the usual dishes.
That smells so good!
It should be ready before too much longer. Go ahead and sit down and I'll bring it to you soon.
Okay.
We hardly ever have meat, so this is a rare treat. I used to have it a lot more before moving into the library, even if I had to scrounge for it. Aspen and I take our places at the table, and soon Juliet brings all the food she prepared and sets it down. While Aspen and I both load up our plates and dig in, Juliet just nibbles on some bread and sips her tea contently.
You know, it's not fair that you always make us such good food, even though you can't taste it.
I don't mind. I'm perfectly satisfied seeing the two of you enjoy it.
Yeah, but you worked so hard. I guess there's no way around it though, huh?
Oh, right. You mentioned that to me as well not long ago. So is all food the same to you?
I can still taste things, but just barely. And I can appreciate the textures of different dishes too. But yes, for the most part, it's like an afterthought to flavor.
So, like drinking a flavored, sparkling water, then?
I've grown accustomed to it over the years, to the point where I can't even remember what things used to taste like.
That's a little sad.
Perhaps that's a blessing in disguise.
We make short work of everything Juliet cooked, not even leaving behind a crust of bread. After helping us clean up, Aspen departs for the Bell House, and Juliet and I are left alone at the kitchen table. I'm glad that we've gotten more comfortable with silence, because I'm not totally sure what I should be saying or doing now. As different as things may be, we're still the same people. Even though I want to talk with and be with Juliet more, I haven't magically become more eloquent. It'd be nice if my magic did work like that, though. The best thing to do would probably be to just tell Juliet what I'm thinking. After all, it was being open about my feelings that got me to this point in the first place. So there's no reason to stop now.
Hey, so I have a question about something Aspen said. She said that you and I are dating now. Is that true?
Are you not?
I guess what I mean is,
I love you, and you said you love me too.
You both said you love each other, but are we dating though?
I know what dating is, but not how to do it, if that makes sense. You probably already know that, though. I just want to make sure I don't do anything wrong.
Juliet stands, offering me her hand. I accept, of course, and stand up as well. She takes my other hand in hers and faces me, almost like we're dancing again.
There is no wrong way. Dating, lovers, partners, they're all just words. I'm happy to use any of them, if they feel right to you. What matters to me isn't what we call it, but what we feel.
Hmm.
And I feel that being around you reminds me what it's like to exist, and to celebrate being alive, and to find joy in everyday moments. That every second we spend together is more special because you're with me. When I say that I love you, I mean that I love you, Miho.
My heart!
Not just who you could be or who we could be, but who you are now. So please don't feel that you have to change for me, or behave a certain way. Just being yourself is all that I can ask for.
My face feels so hot you could fry a slice of bacon on it. I'm not embarrassed, but Juliet saying all those things about me is so wonderfully new and exciting that my body doesn't know how else to respond. I like hearing them though, and it helps put me at ease.
Okay, I can do that.
Still, keeping my hand in hers, Juliet leans forward and kisses me, making my lips tingle again. I'm pretty sure I could get used to this. But can it last? That question permeates. Permeates? Oh my god. Everything for me. For the past couple days, it feels like we dance around the tension, the unspoken question. Is what we have, whatever words we use to describe it, enough to make Juliet want to stay here? I shouldn't expect one night to make up her mind, and I'm sure she'll tell me when she's ready. If the answer is no, though, if I do get used to this and to being with Juliet, then will there ever be a time where I'm ready? Once again, I force those thoughts away. The nature of our relationship has changed, but my goals haven't. No matter what's coming in the future, I want to enjoy these moments with Juliet now and hope that'll be enough for her too. Oh, yeah, okay, that's nice. That is nice. I want to go to the title. Yes. And I want to know something.
It's about time.
82%! Yeah, I'm probably gonna get stuck at like 90-something% with us not having seen some kind of scene. God knows where. Thank you for the pet. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sleepy today. Let me see. Yeah, that's gonna be Semo and Kim's events. Oh, that's a lot of artwork. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe. Wait, no, two different endings? So 3 more artworks on her route? Or maybe there's a special artwork you unlock for having done all of the stuff as well. Who knows, we'll see. Go get some sleep then. I will be doing that, just that in a little bit. It's a good thing I started early today though. Because I can feel myself slipping. Quick quick disclaimer, by the schedule will go up, but I have no idea whether I'll make it to a single stream before Friday. I know we usually only have Wednesdays, but I have some family stuff that's gonna be on both Tuesday and Wednesday, and Monday streams after last time I am even more tired and dead than I usually am, so probably not. Maybe I'll make it to Thursday. I have no idea. We'll definitely see each other on Friday. I cannot promise the specific time for the Friday stream because at least there's plans that I'll be going to an escape room, like an IRL escape room. So hopefully I will have some good news and we manage to get out, but I don't know how long that takes. So, but we'll be starting Atelier Sophie sometime Friday in the evening. So the weekend stream should be happening, but we probably won't be able to continue Please Be Happy until like next Sunday. Which I'm already sorry for, but you think you like Juliet's Route more? Well, it's definitely promising. I mean, funnily enough, I did feel sad about the whole, oh my god, Aspen forgot pretty much everything, but on the other hand, it's good. I guess. Like, it's at least better than her being hung up on it, and us having that in the back of our minds when we're now trying to get with Juliet. Wish me a great time. Thank you, thank you. I have never been to an IRL escape room, so I have no idea how that's gonna happen. If they want me to do math, I'm out of there. One way or another. Don't let the skeletons around the room bother you. I don't even know. I don't even know what course we're going for. I think we're going for an easy course, or maybe not easy. They have like 3 different difficulties. Either it's an easy course or like intermediate or hard, and we're obviously not going to do a hard course on our very first time, so I'll definitely tell you all about it once it happens, once I actually make it there. What I will try to do is to make up for the stream that's probably not going to happen this week, is we'll probably do one next Monday, because it's the Easter weekend, so that means some more time off, right? We like time off. You couldn't really get invested in Aspen. Oh, I liked her a lot, but I think I'm gonna love both of them actually, around the same. By the time we reach whatever the end of Juliet's Route is going to be like, I'm gonna be like bawling my eyes out again. I can already feel it. I can already feel that I'm going to be bawling my eyes out. But yeah, that is gonna be it for tonight. I'll make a schedule real quick and post that, and then we'll see each other again. At the latest, we'll see each other on Friday. Thank you for a nice stream. No, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. You know, usually I would say, oh, Sunday. Sunday is our favorite pink-haired cat time, but because it's of the whole me starting earlier and then the time zones thingy, I think she starts even later, so no pink cat this time. So instead I'm gonna send you guys over to Anze, who is playing Variable Barricade, which I hope she's not going to stop playing anytime soon, because she's already been going for over 4 hours. So we're gonna try and see if we're gonna raid into someone who's about to end or not. I'm taking that chance. I am taking that chance. Here we go. Here is the raid message. Thank you everyone for coming tonight. I wish you all a very, very good night. I actually have to press a few more buttons before I can do that. Oopsie. If anyone for some reason figures out what the funny thing is that I wanted to clip some time ago, and I can't fucking remember what it is. Please tell me. I know that's not really helpful, but it was last week, sometime last week or the week before last. And I thought to myself, oh, this would be fun. This would be fun. I should go back and properly clip this. And I cannot for the life of me remember what it was. Ah! It's making me so mad. I tell you if I do remember. But if any of you ever like, hey, that was funny, I should clip that, please do. I love seeing clips because I forget what I say half the time anyway. But yeah, that is gonna be it for tonight. See you very soon. Have a good night. And bye bye. Bye bye bye.